Oh, uh, people can hear us, is what you mean? We need up with a better way of saying it. Hello, everybody. We are a little late and gay today.
I don't quite know how there's another way to say that. Like, you're live right now. I don't know how to make that any more blunt.
because because it's live, but then it has like that opening screen, you know. So I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, one thing that we didn't talk about yesterday because it
One
wasn't
of
really
many,
appropriate,
probably.
and there wasn't any real time. Is that I have set up um so that you can become a member of the channel, and then you'll have access to. Oh, thank you, Bill. Bill got me some cough syrup. I'm
What a
not. My
great
throat is.
headline, this. The unbearable rightness of being a Democrat. Oh, God, this screams gay.
Just to show you, we do have different emojis and stuff that come with the membership. If you're interested and want to get the emojis and that kind of stuff, then and yes, and Arthur is setting up a D&D game in the Discord. So I think those are, if anyone's interested, and of course Bill will be DMing. If anyone's interested in that, we'll also be streaming the game probably. I'm guessing on some day. I don't know what day of the week that'll be. But yeah, that's just the little bit of housekeeping. How have you been since literally last time we spoke, like a couple hours ago, since we just streamed yesterday?
You're asking me or the chat?
Yes. Yes to both, sure.
I'll tell you what.
Let's see, how do you join? I think I'm not sure how you join the channel membership. It should be open, but I think if you just go to the
Hat kind idea. I'm looking for a design of a window.
what are you talking about?
Because
I'm actually not sure. I'll have to figure it out how to do that because I don't really know how to be a channel member. How to do it. I just set it up last week and I forgot to say anything about it. But anywho,
because I'm trying to find a picture of a French window molding. That might be the gayest thing I'll ever say on this channel.
It pretty much is.
Yeah, because I was looking at like an Art Deco design of a window that isn't terribly complex, but is also just simplistic enough to look cool to sit in the design that I want to make, because someone said to me I should redo the aesthetic so that it's more appropriate for the character. And
Speaking of appropriate for characters, I have that article about the Republican senators call for TV guidelines rating to label LGBTQ.
Oh God, you have that fucking thing in this?
Yeah, I threw it in. I thought that'd be a fun way to start. I always like to start with something that's a little bit not related to the big topics.
You mean as in something that will piss me off?
Yes. Well, you sent it to me, by the way.
Yes, I know. But it's because I wanted to do a video on it, not so that I can get annoyed by it here. But sure, why not?
I'm interested as to why you wanted to do a video on it. I mean, just because most of what they talk about here, I mean, it is bounding into comics, but most of what they talk about, of course, is comics, and that's kind of, my lane. Let me take some cough syrup. Hang on. I mean, it's kind of the topic. I mean, I actually didn't know. I think I stopped watching. No, I know. I think I stopped watching Young Justice in season 2. I didn't know they made Aqualad gay. I'm not shocked by any of this, though, honestly.
There we go.
Well, it's so.
Or people ask me, am I muted again because I'm coughing.
Oh, okay. It's because it's so forced. So, in response to Disney's commitment,
yeah, it's much like everything that's gay.
In response to Disney's commitment to increasing the amount of LGBTQ content in their children's programming, following the fallout from the state of Florida over its newly passed parental rights and education law, a number of U.S. Republican senators are calling for a major change in the way said content is rated. On May 4th, GOP Senators Roger Marshall, Kansas, Mike Lee, Utah, Mike Braun, Indiana, Steve Daines, Montana, and Kevin Kramer, North Dakota, sent a letter to Charles Rivkin, the chairman of the TV Guidelines Rating Board, and whose organization is responsible for designating TV programs with content ratings such as TVY, 14, and MA. In the letter, the senators urged the organization to update their content warnings in light of their belief that LGBTQ content in children's shows is inappropriate for the Y7 audience rating, the most common rating for children's programming. That, of course, means it's appropriate for children ages 7 and up.
You just
Well,
pause for a second and just realize what that
yeah.
actually means. I mean, look at the name of the ideology they're promoting.
Which?
The Rainbow
LG.
Coalition. Yeah, what do
Oh,
they
rainbow.
yeah, what do they stand for?
I mean, they're going to tell you gay rights, obviously. That it's
Okay,
just about equality and acceptance.
I don't give a crap about your gay rights. I don't give a crap about your equality either. I don't
Well, I
want
care about gay
equality.
rights.
Equality is gay, and I don't like equality because it's gay.
Okay. Equity is gay.
No,
Equality under the...
no, there's not equality under the law. You don't have any kind of equality to push your faggy gay agenda on kids. And yes, I'm going to say that word because that is literally what these people are. There is no need for you to push any kind of sexuality on children because it's indoctrination. Because
Okay,
don't give me this crap
I'm
of equality because millennials didn't grow up with this crap, and
no,
they
but
are
I'm gonna come back
tolerant to
to
the point of
I'm gonna
fault.
come back at you with what their counter argument was gonna be, which is that so why is it okay for 3-year-old kids to see I don't know that's to watch Frozen where although I guess like in Frozen there's no like there is a girl and girl kiss in Frozen, isn't it? Because it's sisters and but it's like a loving one. It's not gay. I'm trying to think, or any classic Disney movie where there is a kiss between the. I mean,
Do you know why?
they do. Why? I mean, is that inappropriate? Is it inappropriate? I can't even think of what movies now that it happens in. I guess like Aladdin, I think it does, and Beauty and
Snow
the
White
Beast, I
and
think it does.
dwarfs.
The very end. Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah, and I guess Sleeping Beauty.
You know
So
why? Because it's natural.
yes,
And
but
being gay is not fucking natural in any bloody way.
well, evolutionarily, no. At least I've heard some arguments for it as well as to why it happens.
And I don't know
But
any gay
evolutionarily, it doesn't
person
make.
who isn't indoctrinated into this creepy cult who said, I never saw gay cartoons when I was growing up and it's haunted and scarred me to this very fucking day.
I think anyone who's saying that is being absurdist. But
Yes, that's my point.
my again, my counter argument to you. I'm not saying I agree with it, but my counter argument to you then is why is it okay? I mean, I guess you just said that because one's natural and one's not. I think if it's not like a major part of the show, I don't actually think it's an issue. And in most, I mean, I guess like romance
Because if you
is
give
kind of
them an
sub.
inch, they will take a mile.
Well, clearly that's the issue. I mean, romance
Yeah.
is a side plot in a lot of like a far down side plot in a lot of let's say young adult children's television and movies. Of course, romances in a lot of the princess movies, for example.
You know, we should really stick to when it comes to children's TV programs, violence.
Mm,
Because I remember,
no,
yes, because when you watch a kid, Roadrunner, what did Roadrunner do? And Wile E. Coyote,
actually,
he blew himself up. Tom and Jerry kicked the shit out of each other all damn
yeah.
day.
I gotta be honest with you about that. I've read all the meta-analyses on does watching children violence in that
No,
really simple.
obviously there's not.
There's no evidence for that. Not any meta I've ever read, and that includes video games as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I
Did
don't.
you not play Violent games as a kid?
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I played Duke
I wasn't,
Nukem, and
I wasn't allowed to at my house. I had to go to my neighbor's house to play them
I
because my
mean,
mom was
I played
very stringent.
Mortal Kombat as a kid.
No, I played it as a kid, but I had to go play it at somebody else's house.
No, well, I had that. I had it on my computer as a kid. This was like during the DOS days, for heaven's sake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Gee,
I have very vague memories of Mortal Kombat 2. I remember 3 very much. 3 I didn't play, but I remember 2 and 1. 1 I can still remember very well. I can still remember the friggin' combat, the fatalities for certain of my characters. Up, down, or 4 down, left punch is Raiden's like electrocution of the head.
I mean,
Forward
I never
punch
got to play it.
is Johnny Cage's one. Block up is Scorpion's Skeletor essentially. I still remember all this
For me,
shit.
yeah, I never really got to learn them because my mom wouldn't let me play. My mom was very weird about media when I was growing up because she's a
Christian.
no, she's a teacher. So,
Oh.
and I mean, she's a Christian too, but it's because she teaches particularly young kids that she has.
Ah,
And I mean this in referring to my mom in the most loving way possible. She has a tendency to kind of like hear something around the school that the other teachers are talking about, and then just kind of believe whatever it is. So like she
uh,
bought into that like the thing about like there being razor blades in
Apples.
Halloween candy and apples, which I think they did happen once, but then she got, freaked out about it. She was really concerned with violence. Like she wouldn't, but then because she's still my mom and quirky in her own way, was never consistent on this shit. So like I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers because that was violent.
What?
But she didn't have a problem with me watching horror movies and like really sexually gratuitous shit in comedies. Like I mean, it was fine to watch Airplane. It was fine to watch the Monty Python movies. That was all fine. It was fun for me to watch Rosemary's Baby when I was like 5, but or 4. But no, Power Rangers was too far. Dragon Ball Z was absolutely no. And so of course I wanted to watch that stuff more than anything, right? But just total inconsistencies on stuff. It was something she liked essentially or was familiar with, and she didn't have an issue with. It was something she wasn't familiar with, then it was a hard pass on it. But I also got around that. I think I've told this story that I wasn't allowed to have games like Mortal Kombat or anything like that. But when I was, I think, no, nothing like that. Nothing violent at all. Up until the PlayStation 2 era, I didn't have. I mean, I wasn't allowed to play any GTA games or anything like that. No, and my mom hates GTA. Like specifically hates GTA as a franchise, just because of again things she hears about it.
It is quite gory though. So
I mean, and it is gratuitous. That's true.
San Andreas was actually quite. I remember the mission where you go to Mad Dog's mansion and you stab everyone in the neck. Like that was a bit that caused some controversy. It's fucking funny nowadays. If you look at this shit in games nowadays, you're like that's a fucking walk in the park.
But the first M-rated game that I was allowed to own, that I ever owned myself and didn't play at someone else's house, was I showed my mom. I think I've told this story. I'm sure I have. I had one of those like PC Gamer mags or not PC Gamer, like GameStop magazine. And I must have been about 12 when this game came out or was coming out. And I was like, "Look at this game, Mom. It's got dragons in it. It's like a medieval game, and it's a fantasy game. And so this is fine for you to get me, right?" I also didn't know it was going to be in this game because that game turned out to be Dragon Dragoon, otherwise known as Drakengard, which is one of the most fucked up games ever made in terms of the
That's
plot.
some good stuff.
I mean, it involves incest and child abuse of multiple types, sexual and physical. And it's an extremely dark game where the main character is a psychopath who murders thousands of people. So
I just want to read chat there. The Redneckgram says, "Wait, so Spoon played games in DOS days? So Spoon is a boomer confirmed." No, I was just a very, very young kid on the computer. I still remember a 486. That was the first computer I can remember that my family had. It was a 486. I remember Pentium 2 coming out. I remember Pentium 3. I remember Pentium 4 coming out because I went to a show with my father. I think it was in Design for Living in South Africa. This was like years ago. It was a blue shirt with a white shirt and then a blue and orange logo. I still remember this quite clearly. I don't remember much about Design for Living so much, but I do remember that, and I remember the 3.5-inch floppy drives I used to have, and then the 2.5 ones. I still remember some of the games I had. I remember Lemmings, Bubble Bob. Oh god, Worms 3D. That was fun shit as hell. Blackthorn. I remember that. And there's one other game that always escapes me, and my friend Bob would be able to fucking tell me instantly. You had your legs could propel you up in the air.
Oh, I have no idea.
Someone in the chat who's autistic, you'll know this.
Wait, it's interesting though because we're almost the same age. We're like 6 months apart. But I had fewer DOS games. But anyway, I think going back to the topic at hand, like it
began with an S, by the way.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
But did you ever play Blackthorn?
It sounds really familiar.
There's a Blizzard game.
Probably not then.
This was the first Blizzard game that I can remember. Next to Warcraft, I actually still remember playing Warcraft, the original Humans and Orcs. Stormwind, yeah.
No, this doesn't look familiar to me. So.
Bloody hell, some of us. Okay. The people in the chat who are making fun of me for remembering this crap, Clearly, you people are incredibly young, and the
I don't think so.
the oldest console that you guys can remember was the freaking
Stop
PSP.
dropping F-bombs.
No,
Don't say gamer words.
what, faggy?
Stop saying gamer words.
We should at least say that it's at least a friendly version.
Sure,
It's
it's
an
a
NES release,
friendly
yeah.
version.
But do you remember Contra?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was fun as hell.
my cousins had Contra, or not Contra. Cousins' neighbors had Contra.
Yeah,
So
and Road
it was
Rash
impossible.
3D.
No, I didn't have that.
Road Rash 3D is what introduced me to Soundgarden, actually, now that I think about it. Because I watched some of the gameplay footage, and and I heard Soundgarden, and I went, oh my goodness, it's Soundgarden? How the hell did it was Rusty Cage. How did I not hear this? As a kid, I would have easily recognized, because I still have memories of what I can remember music-wise. Okay, it's probably my parents played, but that one I instantly went, wait, this is Rusty Cage. Why don't I remember this? Yeah, damn, good old days.
Speaking of not the good old days, though, in recent years, concerning topics of sexual nature, I can't read, have become aggressively politicized and promoted in children's programming, including irreversible and harmful experimental treatments for mental disorders like gender dysphoria. The senators opened the letter. To this end, we strongly urge you to update the TV parental guidelines and ensure they are up to date on best practices to help inform parents on this disturbing content. I mean, I guess because they're winning a little bit, they're just not going to fucking stop, from their perspective of pushing back on this.
Can I just say I hate this?
Yeah, I know you do.
I think this is incredibly limp-wristed and fucking weak sauce.
What, sending a strongly worded letter? Yeah.
I've read the letter, by the way. That's not my issue. My issue is you need to ban this crap. Because I said before, the parents that are paying attention, they don't need this crap. So who the hell are you sending this crap for anyway?
I mean,
the parents who pay
true.
attention is not going to be bothered with this crap. They're already going to know what the hell is going on. So I don't see the point of this. I think it's a complete load of shite.
I mean, I would agree with that. And honestly, I mean, I don't know. Like, my mom didn't have a good idea of what things are rated, what things were like, even though they had ratings on them. So she didn't believe that either. But I don't know. I agree that it's pretty tepid.
It's latent gay, yeah.
Yeah, this radical and sexual sensation not only harms children, but also destabilizes and damages parental rights, the senators asserted. The same company has concerningly denounced and vowed to work to repeal a recently passed Florida parental rights law that bans classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through third grade. Parents all over the country have rightfully expressed outrage over its inclusion in the classroom. A former creator of Disney's children's content, writing under a pen name whose identity has yet to be publicly revealed, recently published an article acknowledging that every children's TV writer knows to be careful about modeling behavior, as children will often imitate what is projected through TV scripts, especially preschoolers. Now, the data on that are spurious, but there is evidence for some forms of modeling behavior in terms of mimicry. It doesn't necessarily change longitudinal behavior in children or things that cause violence or anything like that. But we do have to be more careful with very young children, and that would be the case here that I think they're looking at is anything that's it's 7, so anything that's for children. I mean, if it's for kids under the age of 7, that's kind of messed up. But if it's like they're being shown this stuff on television by the age of 7. I think it maybe has to have another. Maybe it's a good idea to have the other warning on it. But like you said, Spoon, if the parents aren't paying attention, they aren't paying attention, and none of this won't matter a lick, will it? None of it.
That's my take anyway. I don't know if that's just true. That's just the vibe that I got.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
it's rare, but it does happen.
Yeah, considering that the cognitive markers of sexual desire emerge during puberty when adolescents undergo normal, natural hormone and physiological changes, it is wholly inappropriate to display this content to a TV Y7 category or for other young audiences.
Case in point.
And I don't know why it has to be on prepubescent kids. Again, the argument could be made, well, then you can't have the prince and princess kiss either, You and I would say, I don't know what Young Justice, by the way. I know it's here on Bounding in Comics. I don't think it's TV Y7. Young Justice was a little bit. I don't think it was Y7. I would be very surprised if it was that low. It's TV 14. That's what I figured. Because Young Justice was a pretty dope show. Just saying. So I would have been shocked if it was Y7. Because and I don't know what on here is. I don't actually know if Steven Universe is Y7. I would be kind of shocked if Steven Universe was Y7 too, because there's violence and stuff in it. But I have to find out. So I think it is weird to put Young Justice in here. But let's see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. The dialogue often involves the promotion of irreversible experimental treatments that involve surgical and otherwise invasive cosmetic procedures that are detrimental and life-altering and do not evidence medical necessity, the group elaborated. And then they do have a screenshot from High Guardian Spice, and I do have something to point out there. In High Guardian Spice, there is a character who is... This is in a world of magic, right? And one of the main teacher characters is trans, openly trans, but I do not think that... I mean, High Guardian Space doesn't air on TV. It's a Crunchyroll exclusive. It's this really bizarre thing where Crunchyroll, which is an anime website, streaming website, took all the money that they got from people who wanted to watch freaking anime and decided we're going to make our own anime and decided to make something that looks... something that's horribly animated, seems to be for children in terms of the level of writing and who it seems to be aimed at, but it's streaming on a platform, except for like we have to have everyone's gay or kind of gay, and some of the characters are trans, and some of the characters are non-binary, and this kind of crap all over the place. We have to put all that in the show, even though it seems like it's... I mean, I would say I would that it's on the same kind of age range as like Avatar: The Last Airbender. So again, I'd say maybe like TV 14 at most, if not lower than that. And yet, no one's can watch this except adults, who, right, for the most part, who are paying for a Crunchyroll subscription for this anime website. But yeah, they in that show, it's like, oh, you can have a magical transition and change your gender. That's in that show. Wonderful, right?
The hell did I just walk back in on?
Oh, I didn't know you walked away. Well, there's also, and yeah, there was a gay marriage in Steven Universe, and there's a lot of queer stuff. It's the word I know they like to use. So that's true.
Does anyone remember when that word meant you're going to get your ass kicked? Yeah, the good old days.
I'm using it in the way that they use that word.
Does anyone remember when Mr. Garrison screamed, we're going to round ourselves up some queers and have ourselves a good old-fashioned fag drag? Remember that? That was
yes,
funny.
I do.
That was funny. I don't think... You know what's really amazing to me? Is that all of the crap that South Park used to make fun of has become real life, and you can't say those jokes anymore. So South Park has become reality, and that's not even a joke. That's actually true. How the fuck are we gonna hear?
Well, I mean, they've predicted a lot of things.
Like, it's absurd. It's just insane. Like, no one just looks at this crap and go, this is really, really dumb. And really... can we please stop the stupidity? It's... Well, yeah, the good old days.
If it doesn't matter to the show, then it doesn't matter. But the problem with all of this stuff is that it almost inevitably ends up being a major plot point. Like, if it's not a plot point... Yeah, there being gay characters in children's television, you know? Like, it has to... I mean, I don't think it's an issue if there's a character who just... in one background scene or whatever, in a regular children's show, who has 2 moms or 2 dads or whatever. That doesn't necessarily bother me. It's when it has to be, when it's the freaking focus of the show or the movie or whatever, that's when I start to find it weird. Again, most of the things that Banana Comics is posting here, to be fair, are for young teens, not for children. But the letter has drafted an interesting response from GLAAD, the largest LGBTQ lobby in the country, who through a spokesperson responded to the senators by stating that Hollywood productions are only reflecting the world we currently live in today.
Bullshit.
Well, sort of. I mean, what's
total crap.
I mean, have you seen the LGBTQ by...
No. That is a lobby trying to push that through Hollywood. Yeah, so to say this is a reflection of society, like, no, you're pushing this crap in the media and education, trying to normalize it, and then you're trying to say, oh, this is our societal reflection of that. No, it's the silent majority wants to kick your ass. The only reason why it can't say anything is because it'll be a public backlash by the fringe fucking minority. So don't give me this crap of, oh, this is society at large. That's a complete load of ass.
I mean, I'm going to tell you this, though. Like, in terms of our society at large. What they mean by that, though. So I have a 2020 study from Statista of, let's see, Gen Z here. Share of Americans who identify as LGB from 2012 to 2020. Now, at that point, this Statista poll from 2020, again, Gen Z was 15.9% on their first data point. So in 2020, 15.9% of Gen Z identify as LGBTQ. Next to them,
That's
compared to
cult.
9% of millennials and 4% of Gen X. So
Yeah,
they're
that's
already
some
in
culty shit.
2020. The next 2020, it's 15.9. 2021 Axios polling puts Gen Z at 20.8%. And the most recent Axios polling, oh right, this is the 2020, yeah, this is 2021 one. And I think that so 1 in 5. So in the course of a
How old are
year,
they?
Gen Z, it's going to be born between 97 and 2003.
Okay, so they're still in their teen
They're
years.
teens, early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they'll grow out of that.
Well, it's getting worse. We'll see. I mean, it's really astonishing that
Did you
1
believe the
in
same
5.
stupid shit at 16 that you do now?
No, but that's why people
There you
are.
go.
That's why. But Spoon, why it's worrying is that the stupid shit they believe today involves permanently causing changes to their bodies.
Yeah, and then they'll just kill themselves. It's all a solving problem, really.
That's horrible. That really is terrible. It's a terrible thing you said, Spoon. I don't want these people. They're fucking confused, dude. It's not their fault. That really is a terrible thing to say. I'm
Did you
quite
think I was
disappointed
being serious?
a little bit.
No, that's
Is
just
it
me being
serious?
heavy and hardcore.
Okay,
I'm
I
waiting for the
see.
chat to just go, God damn, that was rough. Like, yeah,
was
that's kind of the
fucking
point.
rough.
Yes.
Oh
I'm
my
not going to
God.
apologize, by the way, because
I know. I know.
being very pragmatic.
But my point though
I mean, my
stands.
whole thing was to take a fucking hardline monarchical stance and ban it outright, because I
I
said
know.
before, you don't give these people an inch, and I don't give a crap about your free speech. Your free speech doesn't mean shit to me. Okay, if you can't wield it with benevolence, then get the cannon treatment. Simple as that. You don't give everyone freedom because they can't wield it with grace. That's just the reality. You can play your patty
Yeah.
cakes with your fucking ideology of, no, we should treat everyone special because everyone is good and nice and sweet. No, they aren't. You deluded moron.
No,
If
but
you think that, you're an imbecile.
Well, I guess not all of them are kids. 97 would be 97, 2007. So how old are they? I can't do. Look, this is dyscalculia in a fucking nutshell. I'm gonna sit here and do advanced math, but I can't do 97 minus 2021. Let's
25.
see, 97 minus
97, 25. 5, 2.
oh 20. Oh, okay, so they're like 24 or 25
At the most, yeah.
at the most, and then down to 2003, which would be
6 years. So 6 minus 25.
18.
Yeah.
So so there's not really kids anymore, I
It's
guess.
19,
But
you
still
the
still
Asian
young.
genes, and you are not really strong.
No, again, I have dyscalculia. I
That's like
struggle
make
with
fun of
the
you.
little numbers. I know.
I have to make fun of
Uh,
you because you give me shit on a damn bit. Like every week,
oh, I
you have to
know.
throw in at least a couple of stories just to piss me off.
You sent me the story. You
I
sent it
know,
to
but
me.
you know,
So
God,
I would say, from GLAAD's perspective, right, they could take those same statistics and go, well, we do live in an increasingly queer LGBTQ world. Because again,
we
remember, their
don't
argument
though.
as well is that, well, the reasons the numbers are going up like that is just because it's more accepting now. So everyone's okay with it now.
That's
And that's
rubbish.
why there's so many people are coming out. It's like, or could it be that it gets you attention? It gives you social credit at this point. And then,
Does
by the
it?
way, on TikTok, in universities, in
Yeah,
real
but
life,
TikTok is
no.
cancer.
I know what I'm saying. On social media, in universities, I think at this point in high school, I mean, clearly we're seeing this at all levels of school, that it's like, it's not just encouraged. It's not just okay, it's heavily encouraged. There was a woman who got fired the other day. I didn't have this on the docket, but she posted a TikTok, teacher, and she talked about being gay and encouraging her kids to be gay. Well, she was put on, administrative leave.
Why would you encourage children to
Find
be
out.
gay? Like, just saying that out
Period.
loud is disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some really, really
Fair
creepy
enough.
crap. And again,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, and like Rat King says, it's Twitter just got an update.
Here, well, here's the article about it, and we'll see. We mostly went through this, but because again, the point that GLAAD's making is, oh, it's increasingly gay world, so you just have to get used to there being gay people then, and fucking deal with it. It's like, well, Is it though, really? Or are you witnessing social contagion? Because to me, it seems like social contagion, and it's been studied somewhat, although you're not supposed to study that because that's so terrible. Oh, right, and before I do, real quick.
Want to laugh?
Yeah, of course.
There's a woman here that said, this is on the Libs of TikTok, overturn Roe versus Wade is about white supremacy so white people can preserve the majority. Oh, considering the whole fucking purpose of abortion in the first place.
Oh, we're gonna get into some of the
That's really funny.
crazy crap that's happened there. But the real quick before I got out of this old article, I just want to, or the previous article, I want to just read this real quick because I happened to see it. So, GLAAD's CEO Sarah Ellis, one of the things that she has said is that she called for in 2018. She called for studios to include LGBTQ characters in 20% of their releases by 2021 and 50% by 2024. Half of all characters in children's programming, included, need to be gay or trans by 2024, according to GLAAD.
That's not creepy at all.
I mean, even with these percentages of Gen Z and stuff, that's not representative. Even if we take just the Gen Z numbers, that's not representative.
No, but again, these people.
But who knows? Maybe by 2024, 50% of Gen Z will be LGBTQ. I kind of think it's going in the opposite direction, if I'm going to be real. I think that this is becoming really cringe, and young people don't like shit that's cringe. So.
Oh, I'm going to say here, because all minus one for $20 says, thank you very much. From Plato to Huxley, the left. Yes, I read a Huxley article a while ago, actually. The left have always focused on early socialization. Uncle Ted saw this over socialization.
As over socialization, being too socialized.
Yeah. Baudrillard called it hyperreality. The left believes truth is manufactured and are grooming the revolution. Yeah, I agree with that.
By the way, but yeah, I agree as well.
I don't think that's just the left that's just been doing that. I think that's just the way that the world is right now, especially in the coof years. Oh my god, I don't know about you guys, but
I think it seems to be predominantly coming from the left because, I mean. Do we see some of this stuff in the religious right?
I don't think it's necessarily the left. I think it's just the machine.
Perhaps.
It's just the left that's just their foot soldiers.
What I mean by that is, going along with what All-1 said, is that basically, at least what seems to be the case for what the left has been doing, and you can see this if you go watch Dr. Lindsay's videos on it. On the groomer schools, which are, again, I highly recommend that series of videos, regardless of what you think of Dr. Lindsay, highly recommend those videos because he goes into it in depth. And actually, he has a new video out recently that I wanted to watch. I haven't gotten around to yet. On new discourses on that channel. I mean, but he seems to find in the literature that the CRT stuff is based on, what modern CRT literature is based on, has these same kind of trends that, the truth, there is no such thing as truth. And yet, yes, the way that that the people get their revolution is by corrupt the child. That essentially.
Why is the chat asking me if I'm drunk? I'm not drunk. Trust me, if I was drunk, I'd be slurring my words like this and doing all kinds like, can you imagine Mr. Jack Sparrow? Just something like that. That's how it sounds like if I was drunk.
Well, everyone does think you sound a little bit like Johnny Depp doing Jack Sparrow.
Where's the rum gone?
There you go. Oh god, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I've actually been watching it. I've noticed there's a bit of campiness in the way he meanders about. Because if you remember when he walks, the way he walks when he does his hands, it's either like he's a bit gay or he's kind of drunk. The character, yes.
No, that's on purpose.
Yes, the way he walks. He is
kind of always supposed to be drunk and a little out of it.
Yes.
But going back to what I was saying real quick. Yeah, it seems to me that they realized that getting into children, that's how you make people life. And one of the ways that you do that is, I talked about this before, is you get rid of perceived inequalities, right? And one of the things that's inherently unequal between adults and children is that children are innocent. So one of the first things you have to do is destroy their innocence if you want to make them equal. And that's why I think there's such a strong push for this groomer stuff. In large part, that's not the only reason. They also want to, in order. This was a lot of far left and communist theorists discuss this, which is that why can't we get the revolutions to happen in the West, in America specifically? Why can't it get a foothold? And what they all pretty much agreed on was people were too happy under capitalism. So
Oh, yes.
in the West, they were too complacent under capitalism to actually revolt. So one of the ways, the proposals to get people to want to revolt, is to make them miserable. If you can't make them miserable because the economy is too good, psychologically, well, if you can't make them miserable because the economy is too good and because there are enough social safety nets in place that they really aren't living in abject poverty, psychologically destroy them. And the easiest way to do that is to start with children. So that's the premise of a lot of Dr. Lindsay's videos, and he has a lot of receipts for it and a lot of evidence for it that makes it truly horrifying. And speaking of horrifying, I'll send you this.
You're not gonna make me watch TikTok videos, are you?
It's her just talking.
Okay.
What's gonna be the best way to do it so we can both watch it?
No,
I'm gonna. If I share my screen and then you share the Discord, would that work?
No, we tried that last time. It didn't work.
Okay. Well, I will just start at the same time, I guess. It's 57 seconds long. Let's just watch it.
What are we watching?
This woman got fired for this. Lehi teacher placed on leave after viral video describing conversations with students regarding sexuality.
Oh,
I just think people should see this.
No, make her stop.
She's not singing or anything. Did you start it already?
Oh, hold on a second. I have many windows open here. Because I have 5 windows open here because I'm actually modeling something and I want French window frames. And I'm aware I sound incredibly gay right now talking about...
Just a little.
I'm trying to design something because people...
Why you look that up?
No, I have it right here.
Okay. We'll do that and get to the chats. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Go on then.
Are now in 5th grade and they come visit me almost every day after school, and a lot of them are queer because I am queer, and they're
queer because she's queer.
And today they found my Guess Who, and they started playing Guess Who, but they didn't play it the normal way. How did they play it? They used things like, this person looks like a lesbian baddie who's gonna come over and make you dinner. Well, which one of these characters
5th grade
is a lesbian baddie that's gonna come over and make you dinner? Oh, Olivia is? Oh, great.
Does that seem kind of racist to you, honestly?
Looks gay. Well, meet Mike.
Who looks gay?
I'm so happy that they are figuring out who they are and that they're happy with who they are and that they found a safe place. But man, I could never imagine being in 5th grade saying these things out loud.
Yeah, because it's weird.
All okay. I grew up super religious where nothing was okay. And so seeing this happen, I'm like, but I'm also like, yay, but
Does this person seem like their head screwed on right?
No, but then again, they're women, so.
Things to take away from that. She says they're queer because I'm queer, so oops, what a giveaway. You said the part out loud there, lady. Then the kind of like, I had them play Guess Who, and I asked them who looks like a tough lesbian bitch or whatever, and it's like, and she said, the black lady looks like it, and then she's like, oh, who looks like a gay man? He looks like a gay man. What is, that seems like kind of relying on stereotypes to me. Just saying, what?
Well, of course they do. Their entire behavior is a walking caricature.
Well, that's what it is. Like so much of this pride stuff is, I'm going to become a caricature of everything that people kind of associate with very flamboyant gay behavior. Like I've shown you that comic where it's just the guy sitting there, and he's like, gee, why isn't any? He's like, gee, why are people so intolerant of gay people?
Because you're the F word.
Yeah, well, where is it?
And it's because they're boring.
Yeah. Well,
I said this in my video. It's because their entire way of being goes through this thing. That if you were to remove this, you are not allowed to talk about your identity or anything connected to it. They would completely lose their mind and end up in an asylum. Because they don't know
can't
how to
believe-
behave in any other way.
I can't even like. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
By the
Yeah.
way, Dan Crenshaw just admitted the
Clear
quiet
it
part
up.
out loud.
Yeah, yeah. The comic is it's just a guy sitting there and he goes, "I don't get it. Why are there still Americans who don't think I should get married just because I'm gay? It's like they think we're just these weird perverts instead of regular people with emotions and feelings. If only there was to show them this and break the quote weird sexual deviant stereotype." And then he's gonna, I got it. I'm only putting it not on the screen because it does have color on it. And then he's just in high heels and thigh highs. With a
Sorry,
big,
the idea of them being called regular people is pretty funny.
with just the F slur written across his chest, deep throating a dildo in public, and it's like, yeah, that's why people think you're weird. I don't get it. I've been to Pride, and it's like that's not helping anybody. You know, that's not helping your case. I'll put it that way. So yeah, she was put on administrative leave for that one, and
By the
that's
way,
just it shows to me like you don't like who looks. What do you mean who looks gay? It shows that it's all about looks. It's all performative to the people like this.
of course.
It's not about this, how these kids actually. By the way, 5th grade. That's like 11. No, it is. I was saying mostly. It's between 10 and 12. I'm pretty sure. 5th grade. So, I mean, getting close to puberty, I guess, but it's still really freaking young, and it's a really bizarre thing to be. I mean, I don't think. Oh no, she's 4th grade. 4th grade. That's 9 or 10 then. Why are you talking to 9 and 10-year-olds about? First of all, you being queer, and then all of a sudden they come out to you as gay. That doesn't not seeming like there's maybe a connection there. Also, All Minus One said, innocence is a patriarchal, capitalist, white, heteronormative construction that is the left's perspective. They believe kid diddling is moral. I don't think that they believe in morals to a degree. I think that, and it's hard to say that because when you look at their moral foundations theory, they're very high in, the harm and care thing. But I think that's about a perceived equality or really equity of, it might be. Well, I think they have let's put it this way, a utilitarian often perspective on morality, which is that it's about trying to reduce suffering in the system, but they can't do that. So instead, the option is to increase suffering, but make it all equal. Everyone suffers equally. And thanks again, and nice to see you here, Bill. I didn't know you were at not my Bill, All Minus One Bill. Haven't seen you around in a minute, man. What next? Oh, I have torture for you.
If you look at the thing with the Ukraine, it's all these what the Americans are doing. They're just using the Ukrainians as cannon fodder to weaken Russia. That was my conspiracy theories. Oh, and then Dan Crenshaw basically admitted that.
Really?
Yes, he openly came out and said that. I don't have the quote now. Where he just said it's a good idea to weaken our adversaries without wasting a single American life. It's like, oh, okay. So you're so you just openly admit you're just funding this to weaken Russia without getting your guys killed. So this is like your next phase of evolution. Yeah, cool. Like I could tell it from the freaking get-go because all these people say that they're not going to mount an offensive on Russia. Like, yeah, of course, because that would start World War III and Americans would look like assholes. So they bait Russia into a thing, and then you get idiots like Destiny who seem to think like, oh, America is not fault at all. Like, no.
we disagreed on that. But
that's an absurd thing to say. I'm sorry, but anyone who thinks that is not in any way an aggressive posturing of military might is an absurd idiot. I don't care what anyone says. If you disagree with me, you're just wrong. That's it. All right. You were saying so, right?
I'm going to catch up on the super chats, and then I have something to torture you with. But also
why must you do this
Ukraine.
to me?
Another thing about Ukraine is, and we just signed up to give them $40 billion. Again, a country that Biden lined his own pockets with by using it as his personal piggy bank and putting his son and his son's friend in charge of a energy company where he was making $80,000 a month. But I digress. Real quick, let me get through the...
By the way, can I just point something out that I said to you earlier as well? Does anyone remember when the whole Euromaidan coup happened? Oh, I'm sorry, protest. When that all happened?
Actually, please,
Yeah.
June, use the correct term. It's the revolution of dignity.
I'm
I'm not joking. That's what it's called. That's what they are.
That's hyperbolic, funny. No, if you look at the amount of money that was given to Ukraine by Russia, okay, to get them to stay with the Russian alliance, you realize it was like 20 billion. The US military has donated $40 billion. That is twice as much, and it's just for military aid. Let that sink in. And no one is talking about that. It was like, oh, we got $40 billion. The entire country is in absolute shit with inflation. And they go, the reason is because of Putin. Like, yes, I agree. It is because of Putin. It is because of morons in Congress and the White House printing money like it's going out of fashion and then sending it to the fucking Ukrainians. So, yeah, evidently it is because of Russia, but because of the jackass in charge, not because of Putin is firing at these people. By the way, the sanctions have not been working because not only has Russia's ruble currency recovered, it's actually stronger than it was before the war. I'm starting to hear it now. I'm starting to see why people think I'm currently drunk. Well, I sound drunk, sorry.
I'll go ahead and hit what I didn't get already, which is G-Man in a trash can for 2 says Aqualad is a jogger cigarette, apparently. Greg Gray for 5 USD says, will there be a real Bout Natal Fury special? Potentially, I'm guessing you got the reference. And then the Redneck Ram for 10 USD said, with High Guardian Spice, I would say it's worthy of being banned from kids watching simply because of how awful the animation itself was. Oh yeah, it's awful. It should be criminal to make something that bad. And the amount of money they put into it. For example, there is just a photo of bread, I think, and like they just use photos. They don't actually draw some stuff in it. And the animation is absolutely awful. They appear to have spent all of it on like the final fight in the last episode, from what I can tell. But I didn't watch it. I just watched a like 5-hour-long video about it. Going through like the whole debacle. So yeah, it does look like it. And by the way, it wasn't like it was animated in the West. They farmed it out to some Korean animation firm, clearly. It's awful though. It's really bad looking. Jarnagi for 10 USD says, if our reality is a discount South Park, then I can't wait for Cthulhu to come for us all. You and me both, friend. Keza for £5 says, y'all remember when Kyle was black with testicles for knees? His dad was a dolphin and Stan asked God why he hasn't had his period yet. Good times. I think that episode, I mean, how long ago did that come out now? That's got to be close to 10 years old.
I just realized that sounds like something you would hear nowadays.
I know,
like,
but
like,
I mean,
for real, and it's a South Park parody. Man.
From 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it's... I have no words. I really... really don't.
We're on that level of it being reality.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, to say the least.
Yes, it is. DRT is King for 5 US said, how many of these gay kids are just, quote, queer, which is just saying that they want to be part of the club without committing to being gay?
Yes, 100% agreed.
They know that they'll get lots of support. Like this lady, like she's screaming that her kids are queer. You know that those kids get preferential treatment.
Yeah,
I would say it's unquestionable that those kids who come out to her as queer, and so many of these teachers who do this, if you come out to that teacher and go like, well, actually, I'm queer, and then they're going to go, yay, that's awesome, and give you,
special privileges and
give you special privilege. I would imagine so. Finally, Kizza for another £5 says,
there's something very insidious about that, by the way.
Oh, it is. Oh, because it's
Parliamentary regime.
It's Pavlovian. It's classical conditioning. He's saying you do X and you'll treat Y. So you want to do more X so you receive more treats. So come up with a brand new gender that you have a new mental illness. You've got a new headmate today. That's what you're seeing with these kids on TikTok. But yeah, Kizza for another £5 says, these pansies lack complete social awareness as to why they've been so insufferable. Darwinism will kill them all off eventually. Yeah, I mean, that's why they have to groom your kids. That's why they have to groom your kids, because they don't seem to be reproducing with this kind of behavior. And
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, they're cutting off and destroying their sexual organs, so that certainly would be part of it.
Yeah, and they can't even identify what a woman is, so I somehow doubt they'll know which hole to fuck.
And Furious Dan for 5 Canadian says, I have to contrast modern LGBT cartoons with Card Captor Sakura, which portrays same-sex couples in a 90s kids show. They feel different. Yeah, it's way different. I didn't even think about CCS. But yeah, Card Captor Sakura technically has a lesbian relationship in it, and it's a shoujo series for girls. I mean, probably I'd say under the age of like 15 or so, 16. It's about the age range under that age, 7 to 16, like that. And it has a pretty wholesome, but it's not like it's a wholesome lesbian relationship in Cardcaptor Sakura. It's a little bit different, but I am a little biased because I did grow up with that show. Anyway, I have Saturn. We're probably gonna get claimed for this, so I'm gonna speed it up.
Okay, so you're going to make me watch bad shite that might get us copyright claim just because you want to inflict misery upon me. I'm going to make you feel bad about this, Aiden. So I'm going to make the entire chat, or I'm just going to tell them what you want to do. No, I am going to shame you. You were trying to inflict misery upon me. I'm damn right I'm going to shame you.
Inflict misery on everybody.
Why? Okay, that's worse.
Because this is Saturday Night Live's cold open, and it's kind of.
You made me watch Saturday Night Live.
Bad.
Why?
Because it's so bad. It's so bad that I was a little shocked, to be honest.
Why do you hate me?
I don't. Also, I think the members thing should work now, although I'm not sure. I hadn't clicked like the final button on it.
I have no idea how this is gonna look.
Hmm.
I'm currently modeling a window frame.
Oh. Yeah, the members thing should work now. Anywho, do you have it up? Are you have the watch together up? I was just asking if you. And you're using OBS, right? Just to make this better, when you're looking at the frame that's got. Do you have any color correction or stuff over the screen?
No, I don't.
To make it just flip it. So like when you.
Why?
So we don't get the whole don't get taken off.
No, for God's sake, no, I'm not doing this.
Always being such a.
I like the way that you give me crap to watch that's really bad, and then you go.
Yeah. All right, I'll speed it up a little bit. That might help us.
There, it's flipped now.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, I'm still gonna speed it up anyway because it's awful. But here
now my character does look drunk. He's facing the other way.
All right. Okay. That's too fast. There we go.
In the draft of his majority opinion overturning Roe v. Wade, Justice Samuel Alito explains that no woman has a right to an abortion, and that in fact, abortion is a crime. To prove it, he cites a treatise from 13th century England about the quickening of the fetus, and a second treatise that says, if the quick childie dieth in her body.
By the way, he did cite this in his big opinion. It means he's going back to old law, but he's also going back to the Constitution, because the problem is it's unconstitutional. But SNL, being very, very funny, is going to focus on this one. And
That's
you
the
can
funniest
see where
thing
this
you've said.
It would be a great misprision. We go now to that profound moment of moral clarity, almost 1,000 years ago, which laid such a clear foundation for what our laws should be in 2022.
You looketh lost in thought.
Oh, it's nothing. It's just...
And they got my poor boy Bandersnatch Cumberbund on this.
Cringe.
I was cleaning the hole on the side of the castle where we poop, and then it falls through the sky into a moat full of human feces. I started to think about abortion.
I mean, this is so fucking ridiculous.
Cringe, yeah.
That's why it's so bad. But this is what they have to do, the left have to do to soothe themselves, right? In their current rage over this abortion stuff.
Oh, really? What about it?
Well, don't you think we ought to make a law against it?
You mean like the law we have against pointy shoes? Or the law that if you hunt deer in the royal forest, they cut off your genitals?
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Exactly. Something fair and reasonable like those laws. We should make a law that would stand the test of time so that hundreds and hundreds of years from now, they'll look back and say, no need to update this one at all.
Do you maybe think it's because it's so relevant that you probably shouldn't kill a baby in the womb, that people had an issue with it morally then and still do? And that just because you don't understand the language, and by the way, is not the crux of Alito's argument at all, there's a reason why you can find laws dating back to this for 800 years. Ever considered that? Of course not.
Nailed it back in 25.
I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't ban abortion in all of England. We could decide it on a fiefdom-by-fiefdom basis.
Good idea.
Why is that funny to them? Why? I mean, but the audience just laughs. Why is that funny? I honestly don't understand leftoid humor.
That way, if your concubine needs one, you could just send her off to get it in good old York City.
But if we outlaw abortion, how would we punish the mother? Because she'll need to be punished. She'll be so happy about her crime.
We could...
You can't tell me there aren't people who are happy about getting abortions, because TikTok and all the websites are full of people, Twitter are full of people being like, hell yeah, I got an abortion. I don't give a fuck. It's my body, my choice. You can find these women fucking everywhere that they're just like, no, it's my right. It's my body. I can do what I want with it. You can't tell me. They don't seem sad at all to me.
Aiden, they're not all women. How dare you misgender them?
Oh, right. Well, we're going to get into that because for whatever reason, Roe v. Wade is an LGBTQ rights thing.
No, it isn't.
I mean, in order to have a baby in there, you have to engage in some heterosexual sex. So, but no, we'll see, because Lori Lightfoot, of course, brings it up, and she's not the only one. It's like all over right
She's
now.
an alien, by the way.
No, just Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Would always put her in a boat and let her sail off the cliff at the edge of the world. She would, of course, tumble down where the 4 giant turtles are holding up the earth, and maybe one of them would eat her.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Played out there. Ooh, I know. What if we get a donkey drunk and we dress it up in her husband's clothes? Then the next morning...
It just goes on like this for a while. What happened? Oh, OBS crashed. All right. I think we're back. Sorry about that, guys. OBS crashed. I talked for like 10 minutes, I think. And I had no idea. Because, just to reiterate what I went over real quick, though. I'm not sure where we were. There's some data that shows that, something like 70% of women give no reason as to when for why they elect to get an abortion. And the number of women who state the reason as rape or incest is, significantly less than 1%. So, they keep bringing up the rape and incest. Well, it's less than 1%. And for incest, it's very low, because it's very unusual. Also, the other thing I wanted to bring up, just to be clear on this, is that there's several states, including Alaska, Colorado, Oregon, what else did I say now? Nevada, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, I think, where even if Roe is overturned, which it looks like it will, there is absolutely zero restriction on abortion. Meaning you can, technically under the law, you can get an abortion the day before you're set to give birth, okay? For any reason. Yeah, and Riley for any for any reason in terms of what they say. And in these states, it's for any reason. There is no restriction on it whatsoever. The only state that has the 6-week restriction is Texas. Most of the states in the country are between 22 weeks and viability, which is 28. So, it's pretty well into a second trimester abortion. You know what I mean? How much is that? 22 weeks. Divided by 4. That's 5.5 months pregnant. So yeah, you're, and that's
kind of fucked up.
I mean, 5 months pregnant, and one of the things that we'll get into with some Anna Kasparian videos here in a second.
No, you're making me watch even more cringe.
Oh, because she's really spurgy and it's pretty funny.
Okay,
Riley Robo, I don't know if you have a source on that, because I've seen 70, but 94.4% is what you've seen on No Reason Given. That's kind of horrifying, if it is that high. Again, because remember, they always say, like, well, we need it because of rape and incest. Well, it turned out that's not very common. And in response to this, Jen Psaki,
You know what's really funny about that?
Huh?
You know what's really funny about that? I say funny, and not in that haha way. I'm not saying incest is funny. It is more the case that that's more, I would imagine, what's more common in red states. And red states don't give a fuck about being pro-choice. This is ironic.
I guess.
I've noticed they give way
Wait,
much...
wait. What do you mean?
As in, the whole...
Oh, yeah. Yes, that is the meme. Also, Anon 4495 said, "What about all the states with trigger laws? I think it's 26 states with them, something like that." And that would mean that basically abortion becomes illegal or is reduced based on whatever people has already been signed into law, with the anticipation of Roe being overturned. But now it's back in the states. Then they can debate about it again in the state and try to figure out what the individual states want to do if people are really up in arms about it. However, people have been, of course, protesting, and they've not just been protesting anywhere. They've been protesting in front of the houses of several Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, because that's a good fucking idea.
Yeah, and Jen Psaki seems pretty down for it.
Of course, that's because she's a terrible human being.
They've got the clip from it in the article I sent you. If you want to just play it, just let me know, because it's through Twitter. It's only 11 seconds.
Oh, for God's sake, you Twitter rally. Why the hell can't I see this? I'm trying to find this. It's on Daily Wire.
Yeah.
So where's the Twitter thing? I don't see anything.
It's a video that's embedded.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, hold on. Because this is why I hate this stupid thing crashing, because now I have to set up all the fucking crap again.
I'll go ahead and read for a minute then. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Tuesday that the administration continues to support what they claim are the peaceful protests outside the homes of Supreme Court justices. The remarks came after leftists had protested outside the homes of several Supreme Court justices after a draft of the... Yeah, we know all this. So if you wouldn't mind going ahead and just tell me when you press play.
I'm pressing play now. Oops, wrong window.
So I know that there's an outrage right now, I guess.
You struck me as bizarre when you said, I know. Sucker, you don't know shit.
About protests that have been peaceful
because they're peaceful protests, it's fine.
And we certainly
showing up outside of their homes is fine, according to Psaki, because they're so peaceful. Now, it wasn't really cool when those people showed up at the... on Jan 6, right? I mean, trust me, it wasn't all peaceful. We do know about that. But they've been locked up for over a year. And that was mostly peaceful. It was certainly more peaceful than the Summer of Love. But you've locked those people up for a year because they dared to trounce upon the whole... What were the words that were used? These whole hallowed halls of the American government. But you don't have any problem, apparently, with showing up outside the houses of judges and screeching at them. Of course, Ted Cruz did not agree with it. Also, I just wanted to show you this opinion piece. We don't have to read much of it, but I'll go through a little bit of it. MSNBC has a hot take. Well, who specifically? By Zishan Alim, an MSNBC opinion columnist, writes, peaceful protests outside Supreme Court justices' homes is good. The Supreme Court should not be considered immune to citizen feedback. They're kind of supposed to be. That's kind of the whole point.
I was to say, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's the whole fucking point of Supreme Court, you shit-headed moron.
Is that they're not... You don't vote for them, okay? You don't get to vote for them. Obviously not. But she's writing for MSNBC. She must know something, Spoon. Centrist and conservative commentators are saying the recent pro-abortion rights protests outside the houses of conservative Supreme Court justices have crossed a line. These are mobs of harassers who have breached the acceptable parameters of protest, critics contend. But such arguments rest in large part on the myth of an apolitical judiciary. No, you going too far. Look how you just switched. They're complaining that you've gone too far in showing up out front of their houses, and your connection is, yeah, but that's why we need our Supreme Court justices to be openly political. Looked at it another way, the protests are salutary rather than destructive. Oh, it's nice. They're helping, bringing something to bear upon the court that by design it has always been shielded from: democratic energy. I figured you'd like this article, Spoon. The leaked draft Supreme Court opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade. But demonstrations outside the houses of Justice Brett Kavanaugh and John Roberts. Roberts one is funny. You know why, right?
Because he's full of shit.
Because John Roberts likely, if any, he's more likely to vote with the Dem-leaning justices, and often does.
Yeah, because he's a complete bitch.
Yes, so it's hilarious. And by the way, by nature of the way psychological reactance works, there's one of two things that can happen. He will bitch out. I mean, again, I think he was going to side with the Democrats on this either way, or he's going to get pissed off because it clearly doesn't matter what he actually does. They'll just protest whatever anyway, because these people don't have any idea what they're protesting. They have no idea what's going to happen when this is overturned. That's why they're just screaming into the void.
You're trying to tell me that liberals don't know anything?
No. I don't think most people know much of anything, but these people certainly don't.
Taste.
Don't pick at judges at home. It's wrong, tweeted David Frum. This is wrong, stupid, potentially dangerous, politically counterproductive. A former Bill Clinton strategist. Even their own people are being like, stop. It's like, this is actually not a good look for us.
He's one of them makes sense.
Why did the White House refuse to denounce the targeting of Scottish justices? Where are the responsible Dem voices condemning this? Tweeted Stephen Hayes, editor of the Dispatch. I mean, there's
responsible.
I mean, it's funny that they're trying to circle the wagons on this, but Psaki won't condemn it because their party is so fractured on this kind of stuff.
It is because Psaki is a retard.
Yeah, but she can't condemn it, even though even other leftists are being like, you probably should because this makes us look insane. And it turns out, as we'll find out,
more insane than they already do.
Illegal, but probably illegal also. So, and I think this here she just talks about it some more. Okay, the skeptical counterpoint here would be that, or is that where it starts? Right. What are the alternatives for the citizenry if we're not allowed to just go out there and scream at them in front of their own homes?
To shut up and respect the decision of the court, you fucking nimrods.
Yeah, the very nature of the Supreme Court justice involves insulation from any kind of engagement with regular citizens. That's on purpose. These people make enormously influential decisions about the lives and liberty of all Americans, yet they are unelected, appointed based often on arbitrary procedural rules. And it's not arbitrary at all. It's legal.
It's legally binding, you twat.
Oh my gosh. Operate in near total secrecy. That's on purpose. And serve for life. It's all on purpose. Save the extremely unlikely possibility of impeachment for misconduct, they face little in the way of accountability for their actions.
That's every politician, you shithead.
I know. They all serve for forever. But, like, this is on purpose. And they've been pretty clear that, I mean, they've openly been saying, we are going to stack the Supreme Court. We want to stack the Supreme Court. Not this woman, I don't know necessarily, but the Dems have now been openly saying that.
I saw one that literally said, I did a video on it, where they openly said, at the beginning, the Supreme Court is the tool of tyrants, and then they said, pack it. And I'm reading this going, are you aware of what you just wrote? You literally said at the beginning of this article that the Supreme Court is the tool of tyrants, but we should pack the court. So you are openly admitting you have no problem with tyranny as long as it suits your agenda. Congratulations.
That seems to be the general mainstream Democrat sort of not just way of thinking, but open way of expressing themselves, which is almost
tyrannical,
almost astonishing. It's what's astonishing me to sometimes that they've just gone over the last 2 years in particular, gone full mask off on everything, while having no apparent awareness of how mask off they are to anyone who's a reasonable, I would say, external observers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that too.
So, certainly vaccine for officials. It's normal in this day and age for protesters to peacefully question and challenge government officials outside the workplace, including outside their homes, in response to a specific policy. Unless it's January 6th, then you can't do it.
Yeah.
Senators such as Joe Manchin from my home state engaged
He actually
with
voted no.
Yeah. Wait.
Kind of ballsy.
No on what?
To allow the abortion in his state. He said no.
It's because West Virginia is different. West Virginia is blue for union reasons, and that's it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like Manchin for the most part because I think he's kind of slimy.
No, I don't like Manchin either.
But yeah, I can give him
he's
credit
trying to
when
save his own neck.
Yeah.
He's just trying to say he's looking out for number one.
I know, but that's still his job.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. He ends up doing his job better because he's looking out for his own position.
Yes.
In a
which
way.
is actually supposed to be the whole freaking point.
Right.
So you could actually chalk that up as a win for democracy, as much as it makes me cringe saying that.
If one does not wish to put up with this kind of pressure, one has the option to not accept a position of extreme power as a public official who makes life and death decisions about other people. In other words, get over it. If you don't like having people show up outside your house and threaten you, get over it. You chose the position. Wow. Just saying, I guarantee that if someone were to dox Zisha Aleem, not saying anybody should, of course, in a million years, if she got doxxed, I don't think she'd be real happy about it. Just saying. And you accepted this position as an opinion writer at MSNBC.
I was supposed to say that everyone at MSNBC shouldn't be allowed to have opinions. Because they're all shit.
From a purely legal standpoint, there's a federal statute that abridges the rights to assemble outside courts and judges' homes, based on the principle that protests could obstruct justice, because that's the point. But it's unclear if the statute really can be used decisively to suppress judiciary-oriented protests. And the fact that many protests have occurred outside the Supreme Court raises questions about whether it has been or will be enforced, because that's the court itself. You're outside of their homes.
Dumbass.
This is all to say that I'm skipping around a bit. All to say that the judicial branch, just like the executive and legislative, is involved in the business of politics. Court justices reckon with political questions, blah blah blah. Therefore, there's nothing inappropriate about citizens questioning or expressing their dissatisfaction with those conclusions in the form of peaceful protest in response to its decisions. Again, you were not happy with this on January 6th. You were not happy with it then. But it's funny that she points out that statute, because I do want to bring that up. It appears to be illegal to do this.
I mean, really? No shit.
Well, her reading is that, well, if you read the statute this way, and I'm sure you're a legal scholar.
I sense sarcasm. Excuse me.
Oh, right. I gotta open this in another thing, because Washington Post makes me want to requires me to pay for it. Shit. Are you able to open it?
Which?
The WAPO article I sent you.
No, hold on, let's see. Let's first see if we can try. I have so many fucking windows open, it doesn't piss me off.
Are they trying to make you pay for it? If not, I'll dig up an archive on it real quick. Yeah, they're trying to get me maybe pay for it.
Just have a look, see if we can make this wiggle.
You got it? Huh?
Hold on a second. Ah, gayness.
What's that?
I'm trying to see if I can make this stupid thing.
There's a couple other articles on it, if it's an issue. Because a couple people have looked at this, and it does appear to be...
There we go, now I got it.
Okay. Can you read it? Since I'm having a hard time pulling it up.
What the hell can't I see this stupid thing now?
No. God damn it. What's going on?
Why the hell can't I see this stupid thing?
I can pay for it real quick.
Don't give you money to Washington Post.
I know, but if it's being this big of an issue.
There we go. As Republicans and others cry foul over pro-Roe v. Wade protests at Supreme Court just as private homes, Democrats have been forced into a tough spot. The White House has taken to saying that such protests by its abortion right allies are okay as long as they are peaceful. Bollocks. Senate Majority Leader Charles E. Schumer, by the way, if they were to ever turn violent, do you think they will condemn them? Fuck no.
Oh, no.
No.
Well, they'll come out and be like, well, we condemn this, but that's what they want to happen, let's be honest. They want them to be terrified so that they get scared enough to vote the way they want them to vote.
Yes. It's the Senate Majority Leader, whose name I shan't utter. There's protests 3-4 times a week outside my house, Schumer said Tuesday. The American way to peacefully protest is okay. By the way, I don't know where America got this thing that peacefully protesting is how America gets shit done. You had a civil war and a revolutionary war. Protesting is not how Americans do shit. Fucking war is how Americans do shit. Like, it's utter fucking rubbish.
Also, I highly doubt Schumer has people outside
Also, look how many people have been shot.
Yeah.
Pushing for rights. Like, freaking Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, freaking Kennedy.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical on that. I'm sure it's probably like 1 or 2 people, if it ever happens at all. And then he has his security force, I'm sure, lead them away. And the other thing is that his role as the Senate Majority Leader, or in the Senate in general, is not comparable to a Supreme Court justice. They're different kinds of levels of roles. And in this case, you're trying to bully the Supreme Court clearly into making a decision that you deem your politics is in favor of, you know?
You want to keep reading now, or?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. I'm able to pull it up as well, though, but I could use a break.
Give me a second here. This stupid article here.
It's really long. We don't have to read the whole thing, but...
Yeah, there we go. But while protesting, of course, says Washington Post, democracy dies in the dark. I wish democracy would fucking die off. But while protest is indeed ingrained in American democracy, which I just proved is absolute horseshit, legally speaking, the comparison between protesting a politician at home and a member of the judiciary at home is inexact. The experts say the latter category of protest is probably illegal regardless of how peaceful the demonstrations are. An issue at a statute enacted in 1950 titled 18 section 1507 of the U.S. Code. The law states that it is illegal with the intent of influencing any judge to picket or parade in or any near a building or residence occupied or used by judge, juror, witness, or court officer, or with such intent.
Sounds pretty cut and dry to me. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but when the hell do these people give a fuck about the law?
I know.
The law is only for us if we deem it useful.
Yes. We need a Washington Post that is coming out and being like, actually, I think it's illegal. Pretty sure.
Let's see. Tabitha Abu bloody hell, I think
Abu El Hajj.
Yeah, whatever. I almost want to say game board for a second. An expert on protest rights in Drexel University Law School, for the name like that, of course you fucking would be, said that the current protests at justices' homes qualify under the statute, and that the statute, if tested, would probably be found constitutional by the courts, ironically. The statute would seem to apply both because they appear to be picketing and parading with the relevant intent at the relevant locations, but also because the statute has a catch-all resort to any other demonstrations in or near any such building or residence. Timothy Zick of the College of William and Mary agreed. Well, of course, they fucking agreed because you're probably politically aligned with the fucking situation. The comment appears to be...
But they're Abu El Hajj said that, yeah, this is probably illegal. So Timothy Zick of Bill and Mary is probably going to agree.
Yeah.
Bill and Mary is a very well-respected law school, by the way.
The conduct appears to be within the statute's prohibition, Zick said. Picketing includes activities such as demonstrating and protesting. The court has upheld properly tailored restrictions on picketing that targets a particular home. While the Supreme Court has rarely dealt with the specific statute, it has upheld similar ones. I wonder why. In 1988, Frisbee versus Schultz, the court upheld their local Wisconsin law that banned protesting targeted at a specific home, as long as protesters were allowed to march through a neighborhood. 2 decades later, in 1965...
Earlier.
I was going to say 2 decades... I was about to say, like, what? That was earlier. What am I saying? The court upheld a Louisiana law that echoed the federal law prohibition on picketing at a court. The laws were enacted amid an outcry over allies of Communist Party defendants picketing federal courthouses. I don't think the law should apply to them because communists aren't people. What?
Oh, call me Mark's a friend of the channel.
I don't care. Communists should get the cannon.
Ugh. So mean.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't really give a fuck about people who wish to gulag you.
Oh, I don't
They're
think
monsters.
Mark wants to gulag anybody, but...
And he's not a communist. It's like saying I'm a pirate who doesn't, fuck wenches and drink rum. No, it's part of the uniform. The state made up safeguards.
Johnny, the Captain Jack Sparrow shit now. You've started it.
No. The state may adopt safeguards necessary and appropriate to ensure that... This is kind of boring, man.
Yeah, it's done. We got through the important part, which was it's been upheld before that you can't do this. It seems like it might be illegal.
If I read something that's boring me, that's fucking bad.
I wanted to go over the legalese a little bit so that we have our, bases covered. And particularly because it's funny.
Someone in the chat wrote, no, stop. I have to say something very important. Someone said audio slave is better than Soundgarden. Get the fuck out of my chat. Now, immediately. That's heresy. I like both bands, but to say that audio slave is better than Soundgarden, hell no. 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 Get out. Immediately. Or I'll fire the cannon at you. Sorry, I had to say that. My musical senses were greatly offended.
I'm sure. Speaking of greatly offended, Chicago Mayor Beetlejuice, otherwise known as Lori Lightfoot, urges call to arms against the Supreme Court. So, I mean, if that protesting part wasn't illegal, I don't know how she's going to get away with this.
You know
one.
that meme that I made of her? Can I show that one on the stream?
I don't know which meme it was, but why not? How bad is it, Soon?
On a scale of... It's not racial.
Okay.
If that's what you're wondering.
Yes. If it's just making fun of her, it's not racist. That's probably fine.
Hold on a sec. This is pretty spicy. So hold on. I'll show it to you, and then and you can fucking do it.
All right. Let me deem if this is okay. Hang on, chat. Oh, we have to look at this meme here. Also, while you're doing that, real quick, Kiss It for £5 says, if these groomers came for my niece, they'll end up like your average demon in Doom Eternal. Yeah, I'm sure if they came for your niece, that's true. And for another 5 Kiss It says, Aiden/Spoon, this is why we need mass enforcement of the super ultra turbo late term abortions. And that way we all get what we want. Not sure about that, but understandable. Thanks, Kiss It. What does it say?
No, this should be the other way around.
Oh. I mean, everyone's made that joke. It's, if you want to put it up. I mean, she's, yeah.
Her eyes look like... I will say she is the poster child for American progressivism.
She looks like she's a weird fish lady. She looks like Beetlejuice,
No, but here's the thing, right? First of all, she's the epitome of everything that is bad. Literally, she is short. Oh, okay.
I was gonna say career politician who's completely based on id poll.
No. I don't mean that. Okay, I have to rephrase that. Bad. I mean in the sense of oppressed qualities, shall we say? Because she is short, she's black, she's gay, she's female, and she's stupid. So she's literally like everything that is bad. She's top of like the oppression hierarchy.
She is, however, top of the oppression hierarchy. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Why do you think she's in power in Chicago? Because she's got the most oppression points ticked off, right?
Oh, I was going to say because everyone in Chicago is mentally deficient.
I mean, that might be part of it, too. But Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was slammed by critics Tuesday for issuing a call to arms against Supreme Court after the news that Roe V Wade might be overturned. To my friends in the LGBTQ community, LGBTQ plus community, the Supreme Court is coming for us next. This moment has to be a call to arms, the mayor tweeted. We will not surrender our rights without a fight to victory. During an interview with MSNBC, Lightfoot was asked to clarify her meaning of, quote, call to arms. I think everyone who saw that draft opinion has gone through a range of different emotions, Lightfoot said. And that's why I'm calling upon fellow elected officials across the country, and particularly my fellow mayors, to join me in making a pledge that we made today, which is a justice for all pledge. And fundamentally, it reaffirms Chicago as a welcoming city. I don't know about that, with that call to arms shit. Yeah. A city that doesn't discriminate, and a city that's going to stand with women.
We welcome everything except the birth of children.
But here's that interesting thing, right? What does it? She's not the only one doing this. This is just maybe like the worst example of tying in Roe v. Wade with gay people, with LGBT. That doesn't make any sense to me. And again, I did bring this up too. They are protesting outside John Roberts' house. I just had to send a link here, but yeah.
Does any of this shit make sense to you?
Huh?
Does any of this shit make sense to you?
No, it doesn't make sense to protest Roberts. But right now, they're all on this bizarre, slippery slope of, well, if you ban abortion, next thing, they're gonna basically make black people into slaves again. And I thought we'd go through some of the...
Oh yeah, so that was deliciously insane.
Well, I've got a couple different ones. Let's see where it goes next, according to the left, who have always, been like very, and at least in my life, I've always objected to the right when the right has said, like, well, we don't want to have, for example, we don't want to start teaching about 7-year-olds about butt sex, because then maybe you'll want I was going to say, then it will get worse. There's a slippery slope here. It's like, but we're at the end of the slippery slope on teaching children about butt sex now. We're actually in that, as Sam Hyde did predict in the 2070 paradigm shift, it will be state-enforced homosexuality. That's a joke. But anyway, if you pull up the watch together, I got Sam Cedar's genius high IQ take here.
More and more examples we have.
Let me know when you're ready.
Hold on. Oh my god, I have too many fucking windows open. Hold on here.
Huh?
I have too many fucking windows open up here. Yeah, go on.
Okay. What? Are you pausing it?
No.
What's happening?
We have Mitch McConnell coming out and saying we're open to a federal ban. Not going to promise it. Probably won't get rid of the filibuster to do so. Probably, but who knows?
You want the filibuster too. You just don't want it right now. So you have to pretend like you don't want it. If you didn't have the filibuster, you'd be screaming about it though.
And of course,
God damn, the short-sightedness.
Here is Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, and what comes next after? I mean, because in Mississippi, abortion's going to be completely banned.
Who cares?
So where do they go next? Oh, they must be completely satisfied with this. They'll be done because it's only about abortion.
Yeah, it kind of is. Roe v. Wade is unconstitutional. In Mississippi, if they want to bring that topic back up, they can bring the topic back up on a state-by-state level. But it is the way that Roe is worded, the legal rationales for it are flimsy as shit, and it's unconstitutional. But do you find this as interesting as I do, Spoon, that it's like they've already like given up. They're just like, yeah, whatever, abortion. They have to catastrophize it to this degree of, no, it's not just that we want to kill babies. And I think that's pretty fucking clear, because again, it's like, well, we can't have any kind of restrictions on it. That's not fair. It has to just be, because that's where we're at this point, is that, well, any restriction is killing women and forcing them to be barefoot and pregnant. Any restriction whatsoever. If I can't have an abortion when I'm 39 weeks pregnant. But the other thing is that I just find it really interesting that they're barely even talking about abortion now. They're talking about, if this goes through, here's what they'll take from you next.
Do you know why they're doing that?
Go ahead. I think I know, but
what's your take?
I think they're doing that because I think a lot of people don't care about abortion, and a lot of people think it's wrong, deep down.
No, I have a completely different take from you.
Okay. And so they want to scare them in other ways, but go ahead.
No, that's because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what their instinct is. Oh my goodness, if we did this, if we had this position, we would do X. And so they assume that the Republicans will do the fucking same. Yeah.
Oh God, it's just projection. There you go. Yeah. Very possible. Very possible.
Yeah. It's not about controlling women's bodies. It's not about making sure that women go back into the kitchen. This is not
It's just about stopping murder.
This is not about some type of fundamentalist vision.
No, it's about stopping murder. That's what it's about. And because it's an unconstitutional law. That's what it's about.
Of where women get relegated back.
You know, and that's part of that shit too, Spoon. That's part of that shit though too, of the projection. It's because, well, they lie about everything. They lie about their real intentions all the time. So the Republicans must be lying. I mean, because he's thinking about it for sure. But that's that same shit. It's like, well, because when we try to pass through laws, we have all kinds of ulterior motives and things that we hide in gigantic bills that no one will actually read, and so no one will find them. So then the Republicans must work the same way. Well, stop projecting, Sam.
Back to being second-class citizens in this country. It's not about that. That's why we would never consider anything else.
It's about compromise.
Yes, it's not. This is not about making women suffer consequences if they decide to do the dirty.
Well,
your actions do have consequences, okay? And as we've been over, you got a whole myriad of ways of preventing pregnancy, none of which involve killing a baby. And as far as I know, are there some fringe conservatives who have a problem with birth control? Couple. I have problems with birth control, but I've made them very clear. They're about problems with the potency of the drug itself, about hormonal birth control. But you can still use barrier methods, and if you really fuck up and you get molested and you're assaulted, then there is Plan B. In which case, nobody else has to get hurt, and that's what it's about for me: minimizing harm. But interesting that they all fall down the slippery slope.
No. Well, maybe it is.
All we have is a leaked draft. We don't have a final.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree
say on the matter.
But just to be clear, the state of Mississippi, you're not going to then target IUD or Plan B, which are methods of birth control that might not allow a fertilized egg to be implanted. And this is not a theoretical construct. This is not the state of Louisiana, which I recognize is a neighboring state, not your state. I mean, they're talking about not only criminally charging girls and women who get abortions as being committing homicide, but they're also talking about defining the moment of conception as fertilization, which would theoretically, if this were to become the law of Louisiana, and it is not yet.
Okay, we're talking about all this theoretical stuff. So the way Plan B works is there is fertilization, but there's no implantation. So that's not, under the circumstances, it's not going to become a baby. Now, can you make the arguments that probably would? Yeah. But again, we're trying to minimize harm here. And at that point, you are talking about, it's not even a zygote. It's just, I hate that clump of cells line, but we're talking about it's not even implanted in the uterus. So you're making sure that does not happen by basically causing the woman to menstruate. That's what Plan B does, okay? That's so much harm mitigation there. And it works. Well, no, Look, it's simple. That's why Plan B works, and I think that's how some IUDs work. I don't know if that's how all of them work. I don't know much about how IUDs work, because there's hormonal IUDs and then there's copper IUDs.
Mean that murder, if you use an IUD, you are committing murder theoretically. So it's not. I'm not making this up. These are the conversations going on in legislatures in your area. But so just to be clear, you have no intention of seeking to ban IUDs or Plan B.
No intention?
That is not what we're focused on at this time. We're focused on looking at see what the court allows for the bill that is before.
Now, he just told you they're not focusing on that. They're focusing on the Roe V Wade stuff.
The court is a 15-week ban. We believe that.
And it's 15 weeks. Remember, that's what we see, 15-week ban.
The overturning of Roe is the correct decision by the court. And so in Mississippi, we don't have laws on the books that would lead to arresting individuals or anything along those lines.
You mean not arresting girls or women, but you would arrest doctors?
Well, certainly, I don't think that that you're going to see doctors performing abortions if we have a state statute which says that they're not allowable, except for those exceptions that we've mentioned earlier.
We don't need to go any further on this because, of course, when we did when we passed the law that said you can't steal a car, everybody was like, we're not going to steal a car.
No follow-up on no intention. I mean, I'm sorry,
because they don't have an intention right now. That's why.
Follow that logic with guns.
Right.
You fucking Nimrods.
What? Precisely. I mean, this is because they need to catastrophize this. They need to make this as horrible as possible. To be like, well, they're going to take your birth control next. No, the guy just told you that's they're not their intention. I don't know why they would.
To shoehorn freaking sports into this, but like a few weeks before they traded Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll said, we have no intention of trading Russell Wilson. It's almost like a joke in sports media. When you say no intention, it means you're going to do it. It means you're going to do it later on. You just don't want to tip your hand and give up your leverage, which is exactly what's happening in this.
Which is what you do with literally everything, yeah.
Right. Again, that seems. I'm no fan of the Republican Party, by the way, but it just does seem like projection to me.
This was even more explicit. They just said at this time. In other words, like we have so much on our plate. Like, listen, we're so busy restricting women's rights that we have to do.
It's not your right. Again, the way it's your right is as a right to privacy not otherwise enumerated. It is not your right, actually, to kill a baby. It's your right to go to a doctor who will perform an abortion, essentially, and not have to tell anybody about it. That's the way that it's constitutional, or that the way it's worked through as being constitutional, which is why it's not constitutional. Right to privacy not otherwise enumerated. Does that sound like it says that you have a right to abort a fetus? When I say right to privacy not otherwise enumerated? Oh, it doesn't? Because it's not? Yeah, fuck off.
One thing at a time. Come on, Jake. We gotta walk before we start to really full on sprint.
Thanks for the follow-up too on that incredibly important point, by the way. And why was the question framed as you don't have any intention of doing this, right? It makes it super easy as opposed to like, yeah, we're just going to wait it out for a little bit longer and then we'll go after it.
I should say that conversation that they're having in Louisiana.
That was the way the question was framed. Was with the so just making sure you're not trying to do this, implying he is. Where I don't see any implication to that in the way that Republicans are acting in any other ways.
Legislature, it's actually, they've passed it out of committee. And if anybody wants to take bets on whether that's going to go through.
It's also sort of like, you aren't going to go further than this. It sort of acknowledges like, we're just going to accept what is being done.
Right.
IUDs, the reason they're targeting Plan B and IUDs in particular is because those are methods of contraception.
Lady, I don't even know who she is. Lady, he just said no. Just said, no, we're not looking at that. Even if he put the right now caveat on it, he just said, no, we're not looking at IUDs and Plan B. And if they do, I would be against that. But did you see this shit? She just heard him say, that's not what they're doing. And in her brain, she translated into, that's what they're doing. Well, whatever is rattling around in there.
Perception outside of the man's control. If a woman puts an IUD in herself, there's nothing a man...
She can't, by the way. It needs to be done by a doctor. If you try, good luck.
can do in terms of control. He does not have the agency over the insemination because the IUD is going to block it. Same with Plan B, right? It takes away control from men in relationships, much more so than other methods that are more, transparent, but I'm sure they'll go after the pill eventually. Other methods of birth control
Why do you think that
are less about the woman's agency directly. I mean, it's just insane. They're really going to claim that like any method that attempts to block fertilization in and of itself, if the sperm is inside of the woman, is murder.
That sounds like you made that up, because I've not seen any fucking evidence of that. Because there is no evidence of that. This is what I mean. I mean, like, yeah, maybe a lot of it's projection, but I also think that they intentionally are, like, let's make everything go to a quadrillion, 11%, because then we can get our base more riled up. Because I have to be honest, I've been watching, like, a Crowder put out a video today or yesterday where he did, like, a change my mind kind of on the street segment, just asking people what they knew about Roe v. Wade. And there were a couple really big idiots, but I was actually... I know, Well, he's in Texas too. But I was actually kind of surprised at how many people were kind of like understood that it would go back to the states. For one of his change my mind kind of segments, it was a lot, and how little most of them seemed to care. I mean, like it was like a low priority thing. It seems to me that there's a very specific type of person who's very mad about this. Do you know what I mean? Talking about which? Oh, what did they say? What? Whoa, what? Wow. Yeah, because the economy's in shambles. Yeah. Are you muted again, Spoon? Great.
Yeah, there we go.
Spoon has something interesting to say, and now he's gonna have to repeat it because he muted himself. It wasn't me just talking to a ghost.
No, I just basically said if you CNN did a poll and they asked people what is the most pressing issues right now in the country, and abortion wasn't even on the fucking list. It was top 7, and the bottom was at 4%, and didn't even register below that. So if the Democrats bank on this as their Hail Mary to somehow rile the base in November, that's not going to fucking happen.
I do think that the leak that was intended, it was like, ooh, let's get people to not pay attention
the leak
to the
is
economy.
Definitely thing, yeah.
Let's get people to not pay attention
But
to the
it doesn't
economy
work.
and not pay attention to Ukraine, including that $40 billion that we're going to send to Ukraine while the economy is in fucking free fall.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about it, even though inflation, I think it hit new highs, I think, just this week, didn't it?
Yeah, probably.
I'm actually not talking about it because it's... Yeah, U.S. inflation stays at 40-year high, defying expectations of bigger drop from the Financial Times. CPI increase of 8.3% in April includes rise in core inflation and prompts fall in equities. The economy, stocks are down. Everything is shit.
No shit.
I mean, economically. So, and it seems to be... The inflation rate is slowing, is what they're saying. But this is basically just you're still muted, Spoon.
No, I'm not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Or I hope people weren't fucking with me. Or maybe we just... I hope you're not muted. Are you muted in OBS?
I'm not muted in OBS. I can see it.
Okay. Well,
Sass me, princess.
All right. Fuck, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, the abortion stuff, it certainly is. I think that they really did think it was, oh, this will be great. That's why they leaked the document, right? This will be great. We'll be able to use this. People won't pay attention to, we can get them no longer pay attention to Ukraine. We definitely make sure that they stop paying attention to the economy, because that's more pressing than Ukraine at this point, honestly. In spite of the $40 billion in donation. Let's finish this off because I got some other fucking insane takes on the Roe v. Wade stuff, though, because I'm just so fascinated by the slippery slope thing, and that's why I said I think part of it is projection, but I think part of it is also they want to get everybody to freak the fuck out, to be like, oh, you think they're going to come for women's right to abortion today? Well, guess what? Tomorrow, they're going to take away all your freedoms. They're going to put you in literal chains. And that does appear to be the direction. I mean, I find that catastrophizing hilarious. But that's where it seems to be at.
That's what they're going to go with.
Yep. I mean, once that egg and that sperm touch, and that's not how you get pregnant. You need to embed this thing in the uterus. But, just the idea that we're talking about this now is already, this is what they're going to do. They're just going to keep going. This is sort of like the gish galloping of legislation.
The gish galloping? How do you know what that word means, Sam? Oh, this is awful. We got the gist of his dumb shit. I have a crazier article from opendemocracy.net. Ooh, lad. No, it's not meant to torture you. I mean, these people are nuttier than squirrel shit, man. And I do sometimes enjoy looking at their insanity. What'd you say? Anywho, overturning Roe v. Wade is just the beginning. They won't stop at abortion. The Republican Party is poised to impose a Christo-fascist theocracy upon all Americans, limiting the rights of women and LGBTIQ plus people.
Can I just say something for the record? There is no way in hell the Republicans are base enough to do this kind of shit.
I know, that's the thing. Nowhere near that.
Do you think the Republicans are this fucking cool? No.
I don't think it's cool to oppress people, man. By the way, but I'm saying
one person's oppression is another person's.
They get this. I mean, they totally have this idea of the fucking Republican Luftwaffe, and it's like, have you seen Republicans? Have you seen Mitch McConnell? Like, they're pathetic.
Yes. Which is why it's so stupid to me when I hear these people just think, oh my god, the Republicans, they do all this terrible shit. Like, I'm looking at the Republican Party going, you people are nuts. Like, you people are out of your fucking mind. The Republican Party has no fucking balls. The conservative movement is absolutely fucking spineless. Literally all they fucking do is they scream to the heavens, and that is all they fucking do. They sit on their ass, whine, and then they just slowly acquiesce to it more and more as time goes on. The Republican Party is an absolute fucking joke. The conservative movement,
Party is what I thought you were gonna say.
Well, the Republican Party is a fucking joke. Like, if you want to be an actual conservative, you don't do the Republican Party. They're shit.
No, they are shit. Everyone knows that. Kids over 5 pounds says Sam Cedar is an obnoxious, pathetic, hypocritical, clout-chasing cunt who has over 1 million subs but gets less views than V. I know. That's kind of the best part. He legitimately gets fewer views than V does on average, and probably me on some things. Also, Dark Phoenix 77 for 2 says, worst take, abortion over felon equals women can't vote. I'm not sure if I understand the equation. If abortion greater than felon equals women can't vote. Huh. I'm not sure if
abortion is greater than felon.
Worse than a felony? Then that would mean that... Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you. If abortion was made a felony, then women couldn't vote. Any woman who'd had an abortion. Hey.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Maybe we've got a little bit of an agreement we could come to here. Now you're.
This is a way to keep baby murderers from voting. And they're also all women. They're all women because only women can do this sort of shit.
I mean, that would last for a very short amount of time until that gets rescinded. But yeah,
I am totally in favor of this. By the way, 100%.
El said Leon for 2 says the GOP are weak. They're helping the leftoids. They're doing everything basically, but they're progressivism moving the speed limit. And Kids for another 5 pounds. Hey, thank you so much, man. Says Aiden/Spoon, conservatism doesn't exist in the U.S. If they were conservative, they'd all be singing "God Save the Queen" and "Protect the Empire." Yes, we all know that here. Also, speaking of which, I did get the memberships added. So, like, I think if you go to the main channel page, you can become a member. I don't know if you can do it from the stream page. But you could do that if you, for example, wanted to use some of the emojis. I'll add new emojis later.
Yankees should be singing "God Save the Queen."
I've got some monarchy emojis.
Yes, we should all bless the king.
Anywho, to read this
useless bunch of Americans, ungrateful swine, bastards.
This is the Dutch way. And a slight irony in the fact that this breach of privacy of one of the United States'
I don't appreciate your mannerisms, young lady.
Unaccountable government institutions occurred in conjunction with it. Did I skip down? No, I didn't. It just starts horribly. With a de facto eliminate Americans' federal right to privacy. By right to privacy, you mean right to kill a baby. Say what you mean. But there is nothing at all funny about the devastating impact that overturning Roe v. Wade will have on women's equality, on the rights of anyone who can get pregnant. See, this is open democracy, so they're very tolerant here. Anyone who can get pregnant, and in the future, most likely on anyone who needs access to birth control, or who wants to enter into same-sex marriage, or who needs access to medical treatment for gender dysphoria. So see, this is, again, slippery slope.
This isn't slippery slope. This is sixth gear, and I'm very happy about it. I would be 100% in favor of the conservative doing this. Oh my God, yes, please do this all damn day and stop listening.
But there's nothing about this. The thing is, there is nothing about this situation that has anything
to do with reality.
To do with birth control or with gender dysphoria. Now, the treatments for gender dysphoria need to probably be relooked at quite heavily, since I do not think it's...
I have some treatments for gender dysphoria.
I get a feeling that I know what they involve.
They involve fire.
Yeah.
And a bit of twine.
Spoon, God damn it, Spoon.
And a large wheeled vehicle that you might find on pirate ships.
Disavow. Disavow, my dude. Anyway,
it's a very effective treatment.
I'm sure it is in some ways.
Can I make a very spicy joke? Oh, I'll mute it so I can say this.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's spicy, but it's not exactly new.
Oh, okay. Wow, I made you disappointed.
No, it's because it's a distasteful joke, but that's more why I was like, ugh. It's because it's distasteful. He made what is it?
Can I just can I joke? I should do the joke about sake and and the new press secretary. That one is very spicy.
Oh yeah. You showed me that. That one's.
That's a really good meme, though.
Oh, sorry. I have to clear my throat in a minute. Even laws against sodomy overturned in the 2003 Supreme Court decision in Lawrence v. Texas can now be back on the table. To be sure, the late draft Supreme Court opinion over the critically important Mississippi abortion ban case, Dobbs v. Jackson, Women's Health, states, quote, "We emphasize that our decision concerns the constitutional right to abortion and no other right. Nothing in this opinion should be understood to cast doubt on the precedents that do not concern abortion." Its author, Justice Samuel Alito, also argues for the uniqueness of abortion with respect to the termination of life or potential life. Yes, it's in the freaking opinion. They're only talking about abortion and its constitutionality, which is not constitutional. However, other points Alito emphasized make it clear that the supposed uniqueness of abortion notwithstanding, his argument could be used to strike down other civil rights opposed by the extremist white Christians who comprise the core of the Republican Party. In rejecting Roe's reasoning about abortion, Alito belabored the notion that any right considered to exist under the U.S. Constitution should have a deep grounding in American history, arguing that there is no such historical grounding for the right to abortion care. In doing so, he uses the ideologically loaded term abortionist, and you did not just there use the ideologically loaded term abortion care to refer to abortion providers, a label only used by far-right Christians. Is it? Abortionist? I mean, if that's what you do as your job, what's your job? If abortion is your primary job, I think you're an abortionist. Or if you're in favor of abortion, I think you could call yourself an abortionist. Just be honest. Stop lying.
The fact that you have to rephrase it as something else tells me you think it is morally reprehensible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Referring explicitly to rights to same-sex marriage and private consensual sexual acts between adults, Alito also wrote, quote, "None of these rights has any claim to being deeply rooted in history. This essentially invites bigoted state legislators to pass unconstitutional laws banning sodomy and revoking same-sex marriage. No, it really freaking doesn't." I mean, you've gone so crazy with this stuff. Maybe we'll see pushbacks on LGBT stuff. And I don't just mean on the trans stuff. In the way that I think is sensible and not... I mean, again, they're losing their minds because they're not supposed to tell 5-year-olds about butt sex. So, of course, in this persecution complex that's going on, victimhood complex that's going on, I think they want to be persecuted because their entire identity is about being persecuted. You know what I mean? And yet there's so very little actual persecution to go around.
Yeah, they have to dig it up.
At this point, it hardly seems a safe assumption that individual states will be allowed to regulate abortion. That's the exact point, idiot. That's the exact point. Although many have long believed that this would be the case in a post-Roe America, Republicans are already mobilizing to pass a national 6-week abortion ban. Which states can choose whether or not they want to be involved in, if it's done at the state level. And by the way,
that's bad.
It still allows for abortion, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 6 weeks.
And we'll listen to Anna next. It'll be our last thing on abortion, and then we'll move on to the last little bit.
Oh God, you make me listen to Anna.
Because she's been going insane on this, and it's been pretty funny. And she says outright lies over and over again.
To be fair, she is one of the few people that if she were to get pregnant, I would probably pray for the abortion.
It's the thing that drives me nuts is that women are like, oh, you can't speak for me. I'm a woman. Only women can have anything to say in this. I'm like, yeah, well, as a woman, I know that you're lying about menstrual cycles. You know what I mean? Like, I know that you're lying. So, you can't lie to me. I'm not on your ideological side in this, so I'm not going to lie for you. Sorry. Kiss my ass. Anyway, if they hold both the presidency and majorities in both houses of Congress after the 2024 election, a distinct possibility, because of the horrible job that y'all have been doing, and more likely than not, in my view, I have no doubt they will do so. Because again, you're making this up in your head, just like that lady on with Sam Cedar. Because you know that if you were in power, that's what you would do. You would go down a slippery slope, because that's what you have done. Then she goes on about the authoritarians care less about consistency than they do about power. That's ironic. And the Republican Party is poised to impose a Cresto-fascist theocracy upon all Americans, even though a majority of us are fiercely opposed to their policies. Voter suppression, equal representation in the Senate by state, and the Electoral College, in which states rather than individuals elect the president, combine to grant the Republicans political power in the U.S. that is widely out of proportion with their numbers or the popularity of their politics. Full control of the court, demanding direct democracy, by the way. Full control of the court was all they needed to render their vision. It's not a full control. This person's such an idiot. Needed to render their vision of a racist, patriarchal Christian dystopia, increasingly the reality that all of us are forced to live with. What?
I get this feeling that these people are just saying words and phrases just to make it sound scary.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly what this open democracy article is.
So
this is insane.
Stupid when you just say, "Oh, white Christian patriarchy." Like these words just make you sound fucking nuts. What?
Is Chrissy a bio female? Hang on. Nope. Chrissy is a transgender woman who is very angry about this. The writer of that article.
Basically a broken one.
No, this is a biological male wrote all that whinging.
I stand by my statement.
About the taking away our rights to our sacred right to abortion. That was written by a biological male.
Biological male writing that crap, then you fucking should.
Well, it's again, like I said, it seems like Lori Lightfoot said this. There seems to be a little bit of a thing here. That I got one more thing before we get into Anna, and I know that this is a Know Your Meme article, but I'm bringing it up because they've cataloged all the tweets in a pretty good way, so you can actually see the tweets that have happened, because this woman, Amanda Duarte, has deleted her Twitter profile because she had a real one, basically, on Twitter.
What do you mean she had a real one?
She had a real rough day.
Oh, okay.
People did not like her take.
Was it really, really bad?
Oh, let's read it.
Okay.
So I need to remember what she what is her job again? Does it say here? She is a writer, performer, and occasional New York Times contributor who posted, quote, "I do wonder how these white supremacist lawmakers would feel if their little white daughters were raped and impregnated by black men." What did you mean by that? What did you mean by that? Why does it have to be black men? And yet, basically, I would say the Naomi article is correct in this. Pretty much everybody, like, from all over the political aisle was like, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, there are a few things more satisfying than seeing a snarky liberal try to smear social conservatives as white supremacists, but instead outing herself as a white supremacist. I don't think she is, but that's a real weird statement. Amanda Duarte was waiting for the opportunity to be overtly racist. What a fucking tweet. Not retweeting what she said because it's disgusting, but goddamn really exemplified the brand of white liberal woman racism. So she deleted her. And then Lionel Media found some of her other tweets. Here's one. If you scroll down the page, by the way.
Great.
Yeah. She tweeted, I almost want to get pregnant with Trump's baby and let it go to full term just so I can rip it halfway out and cut its fucking head off. She tweeted that in 2016.
How was that person still allowed on Twitter, by the way?
Huh?
How was that person still allowed on Twitter, by the way?
Well, now she's deleted her own Twitter account, but she was fine to tweet that in 2016.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this person is mentally unstable. God damn it.
And Dark Phoenix, you're right. They are proving, Dark Phoenix for 2 said they're proving, I think he gives this point about the lexicon. Yeah, I think that's correct. But, yeah, here's some other bangers. Please stop having white children. Perhaps the hardest truth of all to accept must be that no one wants to fuck your disgusting little white kids. Friends, the entire anti-abortion movement is about white supremacy. More white women have abortions than any other group. That's incorrect.
And they need, ladies and gentlemen.
Huh?
Blue check mark.
I know. It's actually black women who have the most abortions per group. And they need those babies to grow up and be trained to be racist voters, or they're gone. Literally, factually incorrect, but
that part is true.
Holy shit. What?
Black people have to be trained to be racist voters. That part's true.
No, but she's talking about white women.
Oh, okay. That's a stupid take then, because the black one would have made way more sense.
No, she said white women have the most abortions. That's incorrect.
Yeah, but that's not true. Even I know that.
Yeah. So.
And they have those babies to grow up, and they need those babies to grow up. You realize you're telling the GOP that they're only breeding people to vote racism into power. You realize how fucking insane you sound.
Well, I'll tell you why. Again, it seems to be projection. Because, again, they need to train children to think in certain ways. Right?
Why am I hearing shit? My background.
Sorry, because I accidentally... Watch Together always does that for a second.
Gayness.
I've got Anna Kasparian screaming at the Democrats, but she is... I'm gonna put this on sped up.
She's always screaming at the fucking Democrats.
I know, but she's real nutty.
This isn't the one that I showed in my video, is it?
Is this the one where she's absolutely freaking screaming?
Yes.
Did you play it in your video?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch your recent video. No.
This is like 3 videos ago. Like where she just loses her fucking mind.
Did you? It's from 7 days ago. The video.
It's just like, what do you want me to do with Jenk?
I think it's something like that. Yeah, I watched it earlier today.
Yes.
No, I can't remember. Let's just go through it a little bit. I'll put it on high speed. Let me know when you got it up.
Well, just watch it together, yeah.
Yeah, just making sure you got it up.
The law, and if what is written is what a number of members.
Opinion by the Supreme Court that they intend on overturning Roe v. Wade. This was an opinion written by Samuel Alito. It was leaked to the press just last night, and it gives us an idea of the unhinged arguments that Alito, along with other conservative members of the Supreme Court, will.
Huh?
The idea of you calling anyone unhinged, then it's just fucking.
Oh, I know. I actually don't remember watching it the other day, or if it was in your video.
All in my veins, just all of it, all damn day.
Oh, I know. Either way, it's.
Anna, you are literally the most fringe, fucking unhinged bitch
her
on the news,
eyes,
next to fucking Joy Reid.
Her eyes are like about to pop out of her head in this at some point. She's so livid.
Why? I have to ask. This whole movement, why is it spearheaded by women?
Because women, well, I mean, to be fair, they think.
Also,
some of them probably really do think that they're going to be tied up and forced to give birth because that's what they've been told, you know?
They would touch themselves to that.
Probably some, that's for sure.
Okay, if there's one joke I should have been muted for, it's probably that one.
What?
Because that's pretty spicy, actually.
No. There's research on that. That's why I said that's spicy to me.
I know, it's because I saw it in Douglas Murray's book.
Yeah, women tend to have rape fantasies.
Yes, of course. Because newsflash, women like to be dominated by men. Oh, shocking, I know. Fuck's sake.
Well, they like dominant men, and sexual dominance is, well, a sign of dominance, so that's...
Someone should sexually dominate Anna. I mean, take one for the fucking team, because the Lord
really, I think, needs it. You know what I mean?
What, Anna does, yeah.
Anna needs someone to pull on that really tightly wound hair bun. And
fucking hell.
let her just chill out a little bit. Oh, dude, all right.
She needs to let her hair down. She actually looks prettier if her hair's down. And
I think she does. She does look prettier with her hair down.
Yes, and she also is just a fucking lunatic. Like, just calm the fuck down, you ridiculous psycho bitch.
Yeah, I might skip a little bit into it. I'm trying to... When does she go really off the rails? But
when does she not is a better question.
I know.
As well, it's something you should keep in mind as people are now funneling millions and millions of dollars into the campaign coffers of ineffective, weak, pathetic Democratic lawmakers who are in charge right now.
And I do find it funny that they're blaming the Democrats for this. That's actually funnier to me.
Right now, they're in charge right now, and this happened under their watch. Okay, Obama had a super majority in the beginning of his first term, didn't want to codify abortion. In fact, he was on the record saying that's not a priority right now. Not a priority right now. He was too busy cowering to Republicans.
But remember, when the guy from Mississippi said, not a priority right now, or not even on the table right now, not something they're considering about, that's a promise that they're going to do it.
Republicans to pass a Republican healthcare plan that Mitt Romney had passed in his state. But anyway, let me get to the details of what Alito's decision indicates. Again, this is a draft. It hasn't been officially handed down yet, but it doesn't matter. This is likely going to be the final decision. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. The draft opinion is a full-throated, unflinching repudiation of the 1973 decision, which guaranteed federal constitutional protections of abortion, and a subsequent 1992 decision, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that largely maintained the right. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start, Alito wrote. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled, he writes in the document, labeled as the opinion of the court. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. He continues to write, the Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion, the draft concludes. Roe and Casey arrogated the authority and now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives. So this is overturning Roe v. Wade. And this is the...
Did you miss that part where it goes back to the states?
The decision that is likely going to be the official decision having to do with the Mississippi abortion ban past 15 weeks. So they're using that state legislation.
Past 15 weeks. I like that it's a ban past 15 weeks. 15 weeks is what again? Divided by 4? Hang on. Nearly 4 months. You know you're pregnant at 4 months. I would really hope so, unless there's something real weird going on. Now I know again there's those I didn't know I was pregnant things, but there's usually something really weird going on. And we'll get into it because this is a video that there's 2 videos of hers that I pulled, and in one of them for sure she spread what I can only describe as direct misinformation about women's bodies, and I think this is it.
As the opportunity to overturn Roe v. Wade, meaning that there's no longer going to be constitutional protections for women and their reproductive rights.
There is already no
constitutional protection. Take over, because I'm having a hard time even communicating today.
Yeah.
She's literally like, she's so fucking pissed that she's not gonna get to kill babies anymore. So pissed.
So let's break down a couple of things. Number one is the court decision.
How old is Anna? Look, I'm no spring chicken, but how old is Anna Kasparian? No, she's only 35. She could still have kids. Like you could still do it, Anna. I mean, you have maybe about 10 years left. Not 10. You got maybe 5 years left. But if you get on it, you could still do it. You know. But you only got 5. Thereabouts.
Number 2 is the politics of it. In terms of the court decision, this is as extreme an opinion as the justice is right. Now, let me explain. saying that Roe v. Wade is wrongly decided is not an extreme position. It is a fairly normal judicial and legal debate as to whether Roe was decided correctly. That is not about the issue of abortion. It's about how do you interpret the Constitution. And so,
but it is about abortion. I'm gonna skip through because Chang's pretty reasonable, and I mean he's still ridiculous. But if that the part where Anna flies off the freaking handle, yeah, because he's having to bring down Anna because she's being nuts. I don't remember I don't know all the parts in this video, but every time she's on the screen, basically she's going nuts. This one and in the other one. So let's just focus. We'll focus on Anna here because Chang. One that I always notice about Chang is that when Anna's being nuts is when he's at his most reasonable because it's like he knows he has to be the reasonable one in the room. And yeah, basically, and he has to basically tell the audience like, well, we're not complete lunatics here.
Illegal. A few exceptions in some instances in some of those states. Maybe if the woman's life is in danger, maybe they'll consider it. Maybe the pro-life people who couldn't be bothered to wear a freaking mask during the pandemic might make an exception for a woman if her life is in danger.
Here we are again. We're right back here again. This is why I want to bring it up. We're right back here again. If she assumes that she knows what the Republicans are going to do because she knows what they would do if they were in a similar position of power, right? That's why it's so consistent that it's like then they're gonna do this, and it's all slippery slope shit, and they all seem to have the same kind of mentality on it. And again, I thought it was just catastrophizing because they have to make a catastrophe, but I think you're correct. I actually, the more I think about it, I think it is projection of. I think this will happen. Because that's what I would do if I held that power.
Yeah, as a result of that pregnancy, might. They're pro-life, by the way. Hundreds of thousands of Americans dead during the pandemic because of the intentional disinformation by the same right-wingers who are pretending to care about zygotes and fetuses today.
Yeah, and who died, Anna, by the way? Really old people, really sick people. And by the way, the evidence on the mask efficacy and stuff has come out.
That actually did absolutely
that would not have saved those hundreds of thousands of lives. 100,000 lives.
You mean that it did absolutely fuck all, and the crazy fringe conspiracy theorist known as the utensil?
I cannot tell you the exact number because of our overlord Susan, and I don't know the exact number because of course I don't. But I can tell you for sure that 100,000 lives would not have been saved if everybody on the planet was wearing a mask, Anna, 24 hours a day. Because the data do not support that hypothesis.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to read a super chat here because it's actually really powerful and directly is in line.
No, we got our own. Let's just go back to crazy Anna.
That's losers, weak. That's who they are. What happened to those runoff Senate elections in Georgia where everyone turned out because those were the consequential races? We need to ensure that Democrats have a majority in the Senate. What happened? What happened? How are you going to convince people to come out and vote for you feckless losers? How?
Okay.
People are donating.
I love it. Cenk has been like, okay, we still want people to vote for Democrats, Anna. We still want them to vote. And I mean, like, I understand she hates the Democrats because they won't enact the crazy shit she wants. But what she doesn't understand is you don't have any power here right now. You just don't. You don't have any power here. Now you can make whatever decisions you want in your own Democratic blue shitholes, but you can't just scream at the Supreme Court and force them to and continue to uphold what everybody who knows anything about even the slightest iota about how Roe v. Wade works and was passed is an unconstitutional agreement that should not be on the books at all. It's not a constitutional right. It got through on a bunch of technicalities. Anywho.
Millions of dollars to Democrats right now. Don't waste your money.
Oh, you're wasting
Don't waste your money.
Badly. I'm going to explain why in a second. Okay, hold on for that. Peter Hamby, who usually
he really does feel like he's having to like talk to a child and be like, just hold on and it'll be okay. Again, Chunk is trying so hard to calm her down. That's why his parts aren't as fun.
Actually going to happen in about 24 states that are deeply red.
And don't forget, before raising that rapist child, she would have.
Okay, so they're talking about the 24 states that have the automatic laws that go into place. Those can still be challenged, though. And again, the rapist child, we've been over it. It's less than 1% of when they say why they're aborting. It's between 1 and less than 1% of women say it's because they were raped. I think there might be reports as much to 3, but it's never more than that. And then again, some women might say that because that's the socially acceptable reason. But the incest, it's like 0.01%. So the data on that are pretty consistent. that most women have abortions for no reason, or for whatever reason they want. They don't give a reason. It's not. They don't normally say rape.
Have to go through.
In fact, that is so rare to be within a standard deviation, or that not standard deviation, to be within standard error. That's within standard fucking error. If it's 1%, standard fucking error.
The entire pregnancy with that rapist child inside her body. Okay.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old. A 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay. None of this is happening. Look at this insane shit. Why do they always have to do this? A 12-year-old being raped. I know, this is insane though, right? That's why this is how crazy these people are, and I just want people to see it. And just I'm assuming most people in the chat are as, I mean, I know that many of us here are well familiar with Anna Kasparian, but but this is pretty crazy even for her, I would say. And I mean, this catastrophizing, this making it the most insane example possible that does not happen statistically ever. A 12-year-old is raped and forced to, and first of all, who's raping the 12-year-old? I don't mean, look, that doesn't mean that person who did it's not going to go to jail, right? No, but I with the 12-year-old thing, I mean, there's other questions to be had there. And by the way, and I also think that we've agreed on this, Spoon, is that incest and rape we can put aside anyway. I think most people can to some degree. The problem is it's hard to prove, the rape part. But if we have a child, a 12-year-old child who is pregnant, I think we're going to make a different decision there. I think that there should be obviously some workarounds for that. Okay. Yeah. That we shouldn't. I think any reasonable person would agree that we shouldn't force a 12-year-old child who cannot consent, because it's a child, should be allowed to have an abortion. And probably should, honestly, in that case, because that's a very unique case. And I think that if you talk to almost any conservative, they would maybe be okay with that. Even if they'd say, well, it's still bad to have terminated the life of an innocent. I think most people would be all right with it.
But they don't care about life. This is about controlling women.
100%.
Okay.
No, it's not.
So look, Republicans are monsters. That's a given, and for any thinking person.
Any thinking person.
Oh, have I offended your feelings? You just took away the rights of women to control their own.
Oh my goodness, it's about controlling women's bodies. So we're going to give it to the states where people have more control than the federal government.
Right, where they have more individual control, because guess what? I know that this is unfathomable to people like Cenk and Anna, but there are a lot of women who don't agree with Roe v. Wade, and a lot of women who are pro-life. Actually, I think there's probably women are more staunchly pro-life.
Than the men are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is a women's issue, right? I'd say predominantly. It affects women and bothers women more than men in general. And so I think you get more staunchly pro-life and more staunchly pro-choice people on women on either side of that argument. But apparently those women don't exist.
Own bodies. You love big government so much, you're going to seize a woman's body. The government.
You love big government so much, you're going to give it to this. Oh my God, Cenk, you are such a fucking retard. Like, it's not.
I love big government so much, that's why they're trying to make
Dude,
it smaller.
You literally said at the beginning of this fucking thing, it's to give this thing. You said it's to give rights back to the states, and then you say this to. Oh my God, I hate these people. These people are fucking dumb.
I don't know. I didn't recall that.
That was a self-own of
that
epic
was
proportion.
Whoa! I mean, really, just chef's kiss, chunk.
Government is going to seize a woman's body and say, you are not allowed to do what you want. You are not allowed to have freedom. Men are allowed to have freedom. Women are not.
No, they're not. Men are not allowed to have freedom because that woman can then go charge him. He can't paper abort his child for the most part. And if she says he's the father and he can't say, well, I want to financially abort the baby. He can't do that. No, men have a responsibility. Men can't say no to that. They can't financially abort their children.
I don't like these people that piss me off. It's very stupid.
Of course it's stupid.
Not allowed to have freedom. Okay, so now it's going to get worse when we get into the politics because
women get to make the whole choice. Men don't have freedom of choice in this situation at all.
Democrats now, to Anna's point, are complete losers. I'm going to break down Biden in a second for you guys and what he said and why you shouldn't waste your money giving to a corporate Democrat. They are definitely going to put it in their pockets. They're never going to help you, okay? So that
he's going to bitch about Biden here because he wants, first of all, he wants money for his kind of campaigns. That's what he wants. So, you know, and the Young Turks have been pretty consistent. I don't remember if she freaked out again later. All right, let's just see. I remember that there was one part I wanted, the part we already got to, but and then there's some other stuff in the other one that's a lot shorter because this is quite a long video.
Do you think they'll care about the arcane Senate rules? No, here's what McConnell's gonna say on day one. Oh, the Democrats threatened it, so it's good enough. We'll now execute it, it's their fault.
Because McConnell, unlike these garbage Democrats.
Did you just praise Mitch McConnell?
I think, I mean, is she praising Mitch McConnell? She's so pissed at the Democrats for not saving her right to kill a baby, even though they don't have any power here, and there's nothing they can do. They can't do anything. It's a Supreme Court. They can't do shit.
Understands power and he wields it.
But this is the same issue where he's like, I can't believe that we don't vote for the Supreme Court because if we voted,
Anna, do you understand that Mitch McConnell is fucking hated by the Republicans for not being a proper fucking conservative? So the idea that Mitch McConnell wields power for conservative values is a fucking insanely stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
Like that is... Bitch, my God, I hate this woman because she is a fucking clueless dolt. Sorry, go on.
Dark Phoenix for 5 says the data is
spicy take.
Data is a total of one 12-year-old's barred abortion, and it was not in the U.S. So actually, the datum is So there's what a 12-year-old somewhere was barred an abortion in the world. I mean, I'm sure that happens, but. The was about data is because data are plural. Just my pet peeve. Jeez.
He wields it for evil. He does it to control. He does it to force his theocratic ideology onto all of us. That's what he uses it for. Whereas the Democrats,
I know. Isn't this amazing? That's why I wanted to play it.
What the hell? You please stop.
Mitch McConnell, Mr. Turtle Man himself, is trying to force his theocratic ideology onto everyone. His arcane theocratic. You make him sound like a wizard.
She actually does not you say that.
She made him sound like a fucking wizard, dude. Mitch is gonna cast a spell. What spell does Mitch McConnell cast?
Okay.
It's Shell, obviously. Like in a Final Fantasy game, when you cast Shell, it's like deflects magic, but his just turns him just gives him a big turtle shell to hide in.
Hey Nancy, how's your refrigerator doing? How's your luxury ice cream doing? Okay, how's all that going for you? No, the Democrats. Listen.
He really is
all of the bootlickers for the Democratic Party get so upset at me for telling the truth about how ineffective and pathetic Democratic lawmakers are.
Can I just make a point here about something?
And of course.
Because this drives me insane, but it's also really sad. Because she can bitch all fucking day about this crap. But like so many other Americans, they hate the apparatus, but they will never in a million fucking years come to the logical conclusion that it is the apparatus that's the problem.
No, it's the same thing. It's all the time. It's like, well, we'll just vote harder next time. Vote to get rid of it next time because voting works. Like, no,
voting doesn't fucking work.
I actually think it works, but again,
that's not. That's a very deep base take that most people don't fucking have because
it takes a long time to get to that too. And
read Lennon.
Yeah, read Eric von Kuhnert-Lennon. I know, I was trying to avoid that with Destiny last night. We went into it for like 2 minutes, and I was like, let's not, because I'm getting real tired. My voice hurts. I've already run out of energy on this topic on Ukraine. That's why I started flagging there near the end when I really should have been at my top, because we were talking about the Biden stuff. And at that point, I was already kind of like, I'm not feeling great. I'm starting to feel sick. I thought it was a fun talk, but I was starting to flag
but anyone that says that Biden is not corrupt is a fucking idiot.
I don't think Destiny said that.
Yeah, but Sitch said that as well.
I don't think Destiny said Biden's not corrupt.
Well, the bit with his son.
Yeah, no, I don't think he said that either. I think you can't do like the cool background and shit in other places. All right, I think we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I do not know why. I don't have that problem with OBS. It's weird. Oh well. Oh well. Let's we'll continue with the Anna cringe. You got it? Okay. Okay, I think we're fine. Sorry guys, I know what's up. It's just OBS. We'll continue. Thanks for bearing with us.
Yeah. They don't even they tell us exactly who they are and what they're planning on doing.
I actually agree. For the most part, Republicans do kind of say that's why when it's funny though that she says this, but 5 minutes earlier she said the same thing. All those other articles and people were talking about was that like, but they're gonna lie and they're actually planning on getting rid of birth control and then they're gonna get rid of same-sex marriage because they're not telling us the truth. But Anna, now you just said that they do tell you the truth. They do tell you what they believe.
They scream it from the mountaintops.
Yeah.
And what do Democrats do? Do they do anything to prepare for it, to strategize, to ensure that they mitigate the damage that's done by right-wingers in this country? No, they're too busy fundraising.
Yeah, they raise money and then they lie, cheat, and steal. Yep.
Nancy Pelosi's got to fundraise. Chuck Schumer, he can't do away with the filibuster because that would mean that he'd have to apply a little bit of pressure on goons like Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. Ooh, can't do that. Can't do that. No, the reason why I go after Democrats is because A, they deserve it, and B, they deceive us. They lie to us, and they tell us that they're gonna fight for us, and they do the exact opposite.
But Anna, the reason why is because most of your policies, especially on the Democrats, are fucking shit.
Yeah.
And progressive policies are not fucking popular. They sound good on paper, and then when people put them into power and they try to enact them, they suddenly hit gridlock because A, it's fucking nuts, and B, if they get implemented, people go, oh my god, these policies are fucking terrible. Like the state the country is in now is because of your shit-headed moron monkey man in charge went hard fucking left. And then his rating just went...
But that's the thing, interestingly enough, Anna has come to a truthful, or at least partially accurate conclusion, which is that the Democrats don't give a damn about all of your little, your pet hobbies. They only want you to vote for them, and then they'll just sit on their hands. By the way, the Republicans aren't much better, if not worse. Shit. So they're both shit. So I think I don't know how long Anna's been doing this, but it does seem that she's finally figured it out. There is one other one.
That's going to be temporary.
She mostly just, huh?
That's going to be temporary, by the way.
Yeah. She mostly just whines about the Democratic Party in this, but I do have, there's another one where she's bitching about abortion, because she's clearly really fired up about this. And it's the same.
The GOP is already eyeing a congressional ban on abortion once they capture Congress and the executive branch. Now, this is the follow-up to the Supreme Court very likely overturning Roe v. Wade in June of this year.
And by the way, when she says abortion, it's that 15-week ban. So it's 4 months, okay? It's putting a reasonable fucking limit on it. Do you know what I mean? We have federal limits for some things. I don't necessarily agree with them. The difference with abortion versus drinking age and firearms, however, is that with abortion, another human life is always involved. That makes it as a libertarian, it makes it a difficult situation because there's another human life involved, and that means that NAP question is not so clear-cut for me as a Lolbert, but whatever.
There might be some places where women might seek refuge, places like California and New York, where abortion will not be made illegal. However, don't you worry, the GOP...
I mean, she actually is only like 2 states, by the way. There's all kinds of states. It will be, 22 are the ones where it automatically goes in. So half the freaking country, you're fine. More than half. More than half of the country, half of the states in the country, you're fine. And again, in 5 of those states, they have no restrictions on abortion up until birth. So... And in fact, they were looking at there's legislation, I think, in Maryland that passed, or that was going to pass, I think it did pass, that basically said that if your baby dies for any reason, up to a couple months after birth, they don't have the right to investigate it to look to see if you killed it.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Now, was that reported on as after-birth abortions? Yeah, the right absolutely did report on it that way. Fox News got a bunch of headlines out of that, I'm sure. But, I mean, that's what that would allow, isn't it? In a really horrible way. It would be, well, they're not going to look into it. They can't do, criminal investigations. And to be fair, when you have a very young, young infant child, they can die of crib death, sudden infant death syndrome. It happens. And it would be, I really can't imagine how terrible it would be to have a newborn baby and, sorry, I saw Dark Phoenix, what you just said didn't bother me, but I can't imagine how terrible it would be to have a newborn baby and then have it die, and then you get investigated by the state to see if you killed your baby. That's terrible. But at the same time, you see how this can be abused, as most anything can. And also Dark Phoenix 77 for 2 says, sorry, Aiden, the datum are a total of 1. Absolutely re.
Why do you get so upset by that?
It's just a personal pet peeve.
Oh, okay. Because, I mean, the data is correct.
Why do you do this? It really bothers me.
He is looking for ways to prevent women from getting abortions in those states as well. While a number of states have recently approved laws to ban abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, the limit established in the Mississippi
15 weeks, 4 months. Okay.
Legislation at the heart of the case pending before the High Court. Some activists and Republican lawmakers now say those laws are not ambitious enough for the next phase of the anti-abortion movement. Instead, they now see the 6-week limit, which they call heartbeat legislation, as the preferred strategy because it would prevent far more abortions.
It basically prevented all abortions.
Exactly, because most women.
No, it wouldn't. This is when we get into the ridiculous part about, I said this before, about how Chunk and Anna are going to sit here and tell you how women's bodies work.
Well, they can't even define what men and women are.
They can't, right. So, 6 weeks. There's some
everyone is suddenly a fucking biologist now.
There's some claims that they will define, that the Republicans are to define abortion from your last period and not from when you got pregnant. Well, the problem is you really can't get pregnant for the first week and a half after your period, right? And so you have a sort of sweet spot, so kind of right in the middle. So it can't. So if it's 6 weeks, right? It's not 6 weeks since your last period. It's closer to 8, right? So that means you've missed 2 periods. Okay. I'm just saying you've missed a full period. You've missed it, and then have gone several weeks after that. That's why I don't find this. I do think it's restrictive, but I don't think it's absurd, because women know, when they're late, okay? And others, there are some women who have issues like polycystic ovarian syndrome, where they have irregular, or other issues that gives them irregular periods. But if you're sexually active and you're having unprotected sex and you don't get your period,
good times,
then you should maybe think that you're pregnant and go get checked out and go get an abortion if you don't want to have a baby. If you're having unprotected sex. Again, this isn't an issue if you're not having unprotected sex. The other thing that who brought this up here a second ago? Oh yeah, Kizza, you brought it up. Is that one thing Americans don't seem to understand is that these American laws are so much more liberal and lenient on abortion than laws in Europe. Because all Americans want to go oh, Europe's so liberal and leftist utopia.
No.
Have you looked at the laws on abortion in Europe?
They don't even look at anything towards Europe at all. They just think Europe liberal.
Yeah, but they'll mention it and be like, here's the they'll talk about how it's so much better. Let's see weeks.
He's just a boy, poor little fella.
Huh? In the vast majority of Europe, let's see, the legal. Okay, so in Portugal and Turkey, and then what's that country above Turkey? It's a legal limit. Wait, that's not Turkey. What is fucking wrong with my brain? That's Greece. I'm fucking retarded. In Portugal and Greece, it's 1 to 10 weeks. So heartbeat detected at 6. in the vast majority of Europe, is that Greece? What country is that? My brain's not working. What fucking country is that? Croatia. Is it Slovenia and Croatia? This map makes it look weird. Sorry. I'm not usually that map illiterate, but this map. Oh, it's because they've cut out certain parts of the Europe, so it makes it look really bizarre. Because they've cut out countries that aren't in the EU. So I'm like relooking at this map of Europe and going like, Europe looks very strange here. Anyway, but in the the point is, in the vast majority of EU nations, the legal limit is 11 to 20 weeks, right? There's some where it's 1 to 6, but there's almost none where it's more than that, where it's more than 20 weeks. So this 15-week bill, it falls right in line, by the way, with the vast majority of right around the same line with the vast majority of legislation in the EU. So, and yeah, I'm not sure what country it is from looking at that particular map, guys, because they cut out the rest of Europe, so it made it look really confusing. To me, who only looks at big maps. Also, welcome Error as a new member. Tipple, you yank, failing at geography. Yes, I am. Yes, it is true.
Women who end up getting pregnant don't know that they're pregnant at 6 weeks. You just don't know. It's too early. And
No, it's not. You've missed a period and are getting ready to miss your next one. So, if you have not missed 2, depending on when you got pregnant, okay? So yes, you would know. Unless you're brain dead, I don't know. In which case, maybe you should get an abortion. But I'm joking. I don't actually mean that. But yeah, mostly, mostly. But I think I don't like this kind of lying about how women don't know how their own bodies work. This is ridiculous, Anna. You can't lie to me. You can lie to some men in the audience, I guess. Maybe some women who. I don't know how. I just can't. I don't know, maybe it's different for me because I have a freaking, lady disease. But I can't imagine not knowing my period was like 4 weeks late. Or even 2 weeks late. That's crazy to me. And you've been having sexual intercourse that you knew could result in pregnancy.
They are specifically choosing 6 weeks to ensure that women will effectively not have the ability to get an abortion. Approximately 93% of abortions take...
No, Anna, it's in the name. It's because of the heartbeat. That's why. It's because that's the average age when fetuses start to have heartbeats. It's in the name. It's pretty clear. But you can't figure it out for some reason. Weird.
Place in the first 13 weeks of pregnancy, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, meaning 15-week bans target a small fraction of abortion. So that's why they're hyper-focused on making these laws even more restrictive to effectively ban abortion. That's the whole point here.
But did you not hear them just say 93%? Did you understand what you just read, Anna? 93% of abortions happen within 13 weeks. So the 15 week is saying no more than that. So you're talking about 7% that don't happen then. Now I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. What the fuck?
And by the way, you think they won't do this? Of course they'll do this. I actually want to go to a video that's been making its rounds featuring Charlie Kirk. Talking about, hey, you know what? Now that we know the Supreme Court might overturn Roe v. Wade.
Like, really, did she not realize she contradicted herself? Fuck, sorry, I'm trying to eat something.
The possibilities are endless. Let's watch.
If we're trying to save the country, which we are, and we're looking at repealing Roe versus Wade, it changes the entire game.
Charlie Kirk does have a really large head. Sorry, I was eating a gummy. Charlie Kirk has a very egg-shaped head. Nothing that the lad can do about it. Nothing the poor lad can do about it, but he does have a very egg-shaped head.
There'll be obviously extraordinary blowback on this, unlike anything I think we've ever seen. But this takes courage, simple courage by the 5 justices if they do what they're signaling. And that's something that's in short supply right now from our leaders. It's kind of like oil coming above surface. It's a sign that there's likely more below. Boy, is courage in short supply, but I think there's more than we even can put our eyes on right now. And if we can get Roe versus Wade overturned, anything is possible.
a federal ban on abortions through congressional legislation. That's a possibility, and that's what they're working on right now as we speak.
Right. Again, honestly, I think that the reaction is probably states like California will up their yeah, they'll go apeshit and they'll be like, no rules, no rules. But by the way, the reality is there's already states where there are no rules. 5 where there's no rules. Anytime, for any reason, even if you're about to go into labor, essentially, you can kill that baby for any reason.
By the way, overturning gay rights. You think they're not going to do that?
Told you,
they're
here
on
it
that
comes.
as well. Making it illegal to access contraceptives. You think they're not going to do that? They'll do that as well. Because again, look, this is not about conservatism or morality or, we want to protect life. It has nothing to do with that.
Yes,
it's about turning this country.
Stop being this solipsism is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Because you don't talk to conservatives. You have no idea what conservatives think. You're just making shit up and you're projecting. Yeah, it is about life, and yes, it is about the life of children and it's about morality for the vast majority of us who oppose this. I not the vast majority. It's like vast 99.9%. I don't get where again, like it's what you said. It's got to be projection because they would love to have insane power over people's bodies, I think. I mean, well, it wasn't your body, your choice when it came to the vaccine, now was it, Anna? When it came to masks, wasn't your body, your choice. You didn't have that right. I know, but I mean, you know what I mean? She had and she and people like her had no problem dictating to you what you can and can't do with your body for 2 years. I honestly think in some ways this is a weird conservative payback for the COVID shit. Well, we're gonna you created this world, live in it.
Into a theocracy, and of course a theocracy of their preferred religion.
See, same words.
It's about controlling women. It's about punishing.
It's so interesting how they all use the same language, right?
Women. That's all this is about. The abortion debate in this country, I mean, read the history about it. It didn't start off as an issue pertaining to religious principles. It started out during the Nixon administration as a tool to accumulate power. That is what the right wing engages in the culture wars for. And guess what? It has worked out for them because increasingly the Democratic Party has provided no other alternative. So if you have one party that cowers like sniveling little clowns to the Republican Party, and then you have a Republican Party that's actually offering people something, which is
yes, the ones that offered fear.
Just no, Anna. It's because let me try and explain this to you so that you can understand. You are a fucking lunatic, and I don't mean that hyperbolically. I mean I legitimately think you're insane, and
I think
you you do really dumb shit that the vast majority of people don't actually fucking like, which you won't know because you don't communicate with normal people. And then they go to the representatives and say, could you please help us? Could you please do your fucking jobs? Because these people are clearly fucking sane and something needs to be done about them. Then the representatives go, okay, we will listen to you. And then they do something. And then you fucking screeching retards go absolutely apeshit and go, oh my God. And then you get hyperbolic like you are fucking now. No, it is just because you push crappy policies that the vast majority of people don't fucking want, and the vast majority of people in red states vote for them, and then the vast majority of people cheer, and then you screech like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, and Furious Dania, I think Height has done some work on that. I'm not, but it's not just Height. There's some considerable evidence on that. Is that the right thinks the left is stupid, and the left thinks the right is evil, and so yes, when Anna sees anything,
the
that's
right are correct, by the way.
Well, but when Anna sees, and this is because of the way Moral Foundations theory works, which is Height's research, is that she sees this as this horrible attacks on her freedom, on caring for others, on that harm care fallacy or harm care foundation. Excuse me. That's the big thing, and the sort of idea of equality, which of course is not really what it's about, but it's how they see things. Yeah, we'll finish this up, and I got one last thing, basically, before we head out.
Which is dominance. What do you think is going to happen?
So I'm going to tell you an amazing fact here. The Chamber of Commerce came out, and a certain right.
Huh?
No, I was making fun of him.
I think actually, if Chunks is going to talk now, does Chunks talk for the rest? They're probably good then here. I wanted to get to one last little topic before we head out, and that's a little bit about, we talked about stuff with Ukraine about there's $4 billion, $4 billion deal passed through the House to provide military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. And meanwhile, Ukraine is stopping its gas flow through Europe. So I don't want to get too much into the Ukraine stuff, but I wanted to touch on a few things because it's in the thumbnail. The last thing is a couple of last bits about the coof. Because one of the things that Anna was also bitching about that I didn't have a video on, but we've gone through far too much. Anna, I've had enough. Is that she was bitching the other. Huh? I mean, that's why I brought it up. I mean, we'll pop it in here real quick. This is a pretty good segue then, I suppose. I mean, actually not really. The point is, Anna is furious. I don't know how late you want to stay up. That's my question. How you doing? Okay, that's what I figured. So, let's move into the COVID stuff, including that Bill Gates has apparently changed his mind. Bill Gates says COVID is kind of like the flu, and that vaccines are imperfect. Yeah, that's for sure. Let me know when you got the page up and you could just play his short clip. It's about 40 seconds. Let's just let it go. We'll just play it, right?
It wasn't until early February when I was in a meeting that experts at the foundation said there's no way.
And yeah, he would have been banned for this if he had said this a few months ago because it's Bill Gates and he's in charge, he's allowed to. But I just played the clip. It's only about 40 seconds.
Too much travel without diagnosis for us to contain this. And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. You know, we didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that. So that was a pretty scary period, right? Where the world
you knew that almost instantly, yeah. Yeah, you knew that pretty much instantly.
Including the United States, nearly as fast as it needed to.
Yay, that's done. Now I don't have to listen to fucking Bill Gates. Aiden, this is where you say something, or I'm just going to dispatch Bill Gates.
Oh, sorry, I actually muted myself because I was opening my window. Yeah, that's what he's coming out and saying it now. Well, it's basically just the flu. We didn't understand it. We overreacted, essentially. I mean, he didn't say it in so many words, but it's what he said. So we overreacted. And also, regarding vaccines, Gates said, once Omicron comes along, the vaccine is not reducing transmission. Hardly at all, particularly about 3 or 4 months after you take the vaccine. And in fact, we've got the data on that now. We will not go through all of it, but it's out. I will post it in the chat. Is this the actual full data set? I think it is. But the efficacy of the vaccine is significantly waning. Yeah, I'll post this in the chat if anyone is. Doesn't appear to be helping a whole lot either. To the point where some estimates show that it's about 19% effective longitudinally. So, does a little bit, a little tiny itty bitty bit to prevent you from getting it. And that wanes over time until it's nothing. Now, I mean, again, that's why they want you to get boosters. But the way this was sold to people, and it's been on a moving time scale, what people were told. Because first it was, well, you know, you get vaccinated so you don't get COVID. And it's like, no, you get, of course you can still get COVID while you're vaccinated. But it will make it so you don't get really sick. They don't make it, it's so you don't die. Oh, wait, it's so... you know, it's so and so and so, and it goes down the list. And it turns out, like, now where we're at is, well, you have to get this every 6 months, and it doesn't really work, but it might prevent you maybe slightly reduce your risk of hospitalization and death, but we can't even make definitive statements about that anymore, because the data aren't clear. So, and there's things that have come out recently, too, like, it's in some of the data I was looking at recently that the Pfizer vaccine was basically not tested on pregnant women, and they did not have any women pregnant women in the beginning of the test, and at first they did not want them, but they did have some, but it was far too few to be scientifically, statistically meaningful, and so they had absolutely no scientific basis to say that it was safe for pregnant women to take these vaccines. They said that they did, but they didn't have pregnant women in the trial, so they essentially lied or fibbed, however you want to say it, right? And now that all the Pfizer docs are out, which they remember were trying to make so no one could get access to for 70 years, but now that the Pfizer docs are out, people can look at it. And I wanted to bring that up because remember, like you can't get COVID. You get the vaccines, or you can't get COVID, right? That's what we heard for months and months and months, right? For a year, get this vaccine so you don't get COVID. Well, and in fact, one of the biggest peddlers of that narrative was none other than Stephen Colbert. But it turns out Stephen Colbert, who made that really, really cringe segment where he danced around on stage with people in vaccine costumes, singing a song about how you need to get vaccinated, has COVID. I don't say and by the way, he's had it before. This was the second time he's had it, and he is quadruple vaxxed. So he's had his 2 vaccines and 2 boosters, and he has had it now twice. I love the LA Times. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that reinfections, meaning the person was infected, recovered, and then later became infected again, can occur. Although most individuals... Yeah. Right, so he's now had it twice. It's just... The news comes just 3 days after the show's band leader, Grammy winner John Baptiste, announced that he too had contracted the virus. So, basically, cases are on the rise again in California, of all places, like the most vaxxed state in the country. Or one of them. So, I don't think things are going great for the COVID narrative. I do want to always try to bring up a couple of COVID things because we can't let them forget what they did, you know. And it is a little bit of poetic irony that Colbert and his "I will not subject you to the Vax Scene" clip, predominantly because it will get us struck soon. I'm sure you have seen it. If anyone wants to truly torture themselves, type in the Vax as in VAX and then Scene as in SCENE, and you will find one of the cringiest things ever made. It's truly awful. And it's not just one song, by the way. He made like 6. He made a whole album about telling people to go get vaccinated. Anywho, with that, I think we've come to about the end of the show with everything I think we want to talk about tonight. How you doing, Sam? You sound like you're flagging a little bit too.
Yes, because it's late and I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm sick still. It is a very weird version of being sick. This time just my throat and my head hurt, but my voice is mostly okay. So, and I'm not and not coughing too much. But alas, and yesterday, yeah, I started to flag pretty heavy because I was not feeling well. I have been taking a lot of painkillers and cough medicine. But hopefully that'll be over soon. Anywho, thank you guys so much for all of the super chats, and thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you want to become channel members now, so you can get access to the new emojis, then go ahead, and also there are some other rewards. I'll have to go over them. Maybe we'll go over them more next time, because I didn't technically have it set up when we started the stream today. Anywho, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again next week, if not before then.